Thank you all. Welcome to public hearing and regular board meeting notice Wednesday, January 21st, 2020. It is now 6:04. We have two public hearing item on the agenda. Celeste, could you read off the public too?
The first item we have this evening is Annalise Sosner-Mans, Program Director, and John Martin from the Bushwick Store Manager for Big Reuse. They're going to be providing an overview of the organization's services and information about the new location in Bushwick. And I will let whomever is going to speak first take it from here.
Thank you very much. I believe John's in person. I'm here in Zoom. I've got a little brief presentation for everyone, depending on your familiarity with Big Reuse. So I'm just going to share that on the screen now. I'm hoping that everyone can see. Let me know. Put this in presentation mode. Can everyone see this? Or can anyone not see that is perhaps the better way to ask?
Yes, we can see it.
Fabulous. Okay. So for those of you not familiar, Big Reuse, we are based in Gowanus. If you remember the old ShopRite by Lowe's, that's our warehouse. We are an environmental nonprofit supporting and building community-based initiatives focused on minimizing waste and strengthening local resilience in the face of what has become the buzzword of climate change. So you'll see some photos here from our street tree care events, and then also here chopping up food scraps to turn them into compost. Our impact in the city is pretty incredible. In 2025, we supported 128 neighborhoods across the city. I've shared this as a PDF with the board, so you should be able to, if you'd like, later click here on this map. It's hyperlinked to the actual map. You can zoom in and see kind of what we're doing in or around your district. And if we're not kind of close enough to where you'd like us to be, let's have a conversation. We're all about talking and figuring out how to do this work all over the city and continuing. And one of the ways we're doing that is opening our second location in Bushwick, which I'll let John speak to in a moment. Our programs break down into 4 different ones. So street tree care, tree planting, and tree guards. Those are all part of what we call the tree team. Again, my name is Annalisa, Program Director. Community composting and curbside composting outreach. This is something that we've been doing for many years now, almost a decade. It's been funded in the past through DSNY and currently is funded through City Council. With a lot of gratitude, we're able to not only compost food scraps and organic material, but also that we're able to do curbside outreach to help explain and work with different community members, neighbors, and constituents around the curbside composting program, the brown bins that have rolled out off and on over the past few years. We have reuse centers. Like I said, our headquarters, the warehouse is in Gowanus. And again, I'll let John speak in a bit about the reuse center in Bushwick that will be opening very soon. And then, of course, the last thing is just community education and volunteering. We have a lot of different volunteering events all across the city that we're kind of always active and working on. So to give you a little bit more of an idea of the street tree care program, again, you can see on the right, this is the street tree guard that we recently rolled out. These are available for purchase. They are affordable tree guards. This was a flagship that we rolled out with Councilmember Lincoln Ressler. We worked very closely with his team to develop something affordable because a lot of tree guards were cost prohibitive. We found that they were only iron, heavy duty, and really at least one and closer to $2,000. This model that we've established that's available for purchase in any district that we're funded in, your district definitely is one of them, is $375. It is a DIY setup, but it is completely doable. We created a toolkit that you rent and a pretty long, extensive review of how to do it. So those are now available and we've been installing them all across the city. We also do tree care workshops, again, funded through several different council members. We're currently doing them in Manhattan, Brooklyn, the Bronx, and Queens. So we're really all over the city. And And then, of course, we're doing tree planting, which has been something that we just got involved in through a DEC grant that we were awarded. We are going to be doing our first tree planting through that grant this spring. So the spring season starts in March for tree planting. So we'll be doing that in Brooklyn around the Navy Yard and also out by Cypress Hills. So that is our kind of first season of that, and that's kind of giving you an idea of the street tree program. Just some numbers. Again, I don't want to, it's hard on Zoom. Don't want to talk at you, but if you're interested, almost 2,000 trees cared for just in 2025 alone. We work with students, we work with youth, we work with SYEP, we work with bids, neighborhood groups, anyone who really is just noticing that their street trees need a little bit of love. And it's been incredible to get out and help educate and invigorate people from all backgrounds in taking care of their street trees. They're all community led, specifically for you all. Sandy Nurse and Jen Gutierrez have been incredible advocates of this work, and we have been lucky to be funded in both of their districts to do this for the past several years. We also were able this year to create a free downloadable tree care guide in English, Spanish, and Mandarin. We also created a student version in English and Spanish, and we're looking to even expand those so that when we partner with DOE schools and sustainability specialists at schools, we're able to offer resources in multiple languages, which is just, again, a great way to engage our students and our youth because they truly are the future. Again, just some quotes from different public school teachers, people on our team, people around us, Climate Action Day, to just understand what this is. This on the bottom was installing a street tree guard over here on the right as well. Just teaching kids how to use tools, which they don't always get to do anymore. And then, of course, basic gardening tools when they're doing street tree care. So it's pretty incredible. In terms of what's next, as I mentioned before, we'll be starting tree planting in the spring through a DEC grant. We were lucky enough to begin tree planting the year before last in 2024. Thanks to our now mayor, you might see a familiar face. It's Mayor Mamdani here as an assembly member. He worked closely to advocate for trees getting planted, and we worked very closely with Rise, Light, and Power to transform this area in Astoria. You could see some of the before and after pictures here, and it's been an incredible opportunity to plant, learn how to plant, and also care for these trees in the neighborhood. It's really powerful and really important work. Community composting, you could see right in the middle here, this is a composting bin. It's rat proof. It's a compost bin installation system that we've been working with community gardens on. So if you are involved or active in a community garden that is keen to upgrade their compost bin system, please do get in touch. I'd be more than happy to talk through anything. Again, I know how cold a Zoom presentation can be, and I really want to make sure that anyone who's interested in more of this information has it. So don't hesitate to email me at any time. Again, more numbers for you in terms of just our compost program impact, what we're doing, how many community interactions we're having, and those bins that I mentioned, we installed 40 in 2025 alone, which is pretty substantial if you think about 12 months in a year, and the availability of gardens to do this work. It's really incredible. Something that I think we're all very proud of, in addition to our participation with the Master Composter Program, hosting spring and fall cohorts to just, again, give that hands-on education about composting, soil health, soil science, and just community building in general. So we also work with youth. You can see Natalia over here, Elena over here, and I think that might be Colin over here, working with youth to just help show them worms at Brooklyn Children's Museum or show up at a school to help like create seed balls, right? To throw on garden spaces or trees, it's endless what we're doing in the community, and it's really a joy. So we have, and you can see here on the left, this is the salt lot. It's been under construction for some time, but it actually just officially opened last week after almost over a year of construction. So we also are opening a second site in Central Park, which is really exciting. So two new large-scale composting sites opening up, and again supported by City Council. We could not and would not be doing this work without them. So just again, strengthening access to local composting. And our number one thing is just deepening community engagement and education, making sure people know about this and have access to it is really number one. Oops. So again, with the curbside composting impact, again, this goes back to teaching about the brown bins. You could also see we do kitchen container giveaways, we table, we try our best to help educate about what's going on and how people can kind of get the support they need to facilitate in residential and commercial buildings across the city in terms of just making sure that access is available and there's an understanding of what the brown bins are there for and what we're doing with them and how people can start composting themselves and really thinking about where their food scrap and organic material goes. So our reuse center in Gowanus, which I think is a main core reason we're here today because we'll be opening up our second one in Bushwick. And again, I will hand this over to John in a moment. John, I hope you're there. I can't see you, but I'm trusting you're there. I see a head nod. So our reuse center in Gowanus is our headquarters. This we sell everything. For those of you who might have been there, we have furniture, we have ovens, we have books, we have shoes, we have clothes, we have building materials. It's really incredible everything that we have. Our space in Bushwick is a bit smaller, so it'll look a little bit different. But this is kind of just to give you an idea in 2025 in Gowanus, what we were able to cover. We diverted over 150,000 home goods, over 77, almost 80,000 pieces of clothes, over 10,000, almost 11,000 pieces of furniture, over 5,000 building material, and 54,000 books from the landfills. That's in 1 year. So it's really incredible. Again, this low waste, what it looks like with tree care, what it looks like with planting, what it looks like with compost, what it looks like with outreach, and what it looks like in our warehouses. So I'm gonna hand this over to John to kind of talk about what's happening. This is our space in Bushwick. You can see it's been under construction. John's also been phenomenal in leading that. But we are going to be at 378, or we're at 378 Troutman Street. And I'm going to hand it over to John. John, are you there?
I am here. Hello, everyone. Hi. My name's John. Thank you for that. I don't have a lot more to add other than, of course, questions from you all. But I do have one question for everyone, which is, who has been to the Gowanus location? Show of hands. Okay, a couple. Guys, we got to pick this up. You guys got to get down to Gowanus. We're coming to you. The Gowanus location is amazing. It has everything: furniture, home goods, books, clothes, paint, building supplies. You can get doors, windows there. We're keeping stuff out of the landfill. Our space in Bushwick is going to be a little smaller, unfortunately. So we're just going to have home goods, books, and clothes. We are not going to be able to accept furniture donations yet, although that could be something we work on. But we will accept donations of all those things and also have all those things. We're hoping to be open in February. Wish us luck. Wish me luck. And yeah, we're just really, really thrilled to be in the neighborhood and to be a part of this community. Yeah, any questions for me?
Any questions?
We can let you ruminate on it. We'll take questions at any time.
If you want to make a large item donation, like furniture or appliances to Gowanus, do you do pickups for that?
Sometimes it's
Okay.
more of a reach out to us.
Okay.
We have one truck. We'd love to have a fleet of trucks and drivers. We have one. They are booked wall to wall. Every time I try to get something delivered from the big store to us, I have to get on the list, and it sometimes takes days or weeks. But so maybe, definitely, if you bring it to us, we are so thankful and so happy. But if you have enough stuff there, we can you reach out to us. our donations page, and we'll see what we can do.
A light reminder to just say your name and your affiliation for the record. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm Loli, a member. I'm a business owner in Bushwick.
Hi, Nancy, CB4 member. Very exciting to have you join us in Bushwick. I'm just curious what your hours are for dropping in for, like, if you were a customer and wanted to get some of the secondhand items.
Guys, you're really asking the hard questions here.
Okay.
I say that because we don't exactly know yet. We're thinking 11 to 7, but we might bump it a little bit later. We're gonna see exactly what it ends up being, but
And
Yep.
it's Monday through Friday or
it'll be
weekend?
every day of the week.
Every day of the week. Okay.
Yeah, every day of the
wonderful.
week. And yeah, 11 to 7 is what we're working on right now.
Yeah, I got you.
Hi, Zachary Hendrickson, CB4 board member. Thank you for this presentation. This question may end up actually being more appropriate for our council members, but I'm really curious with the tree guard program that you all have. My understanding is that's like currently limited to a certain council district or generally so. With you all coming into Bushwick, I know that like there are a lot of street trees in the neighborhood that don't have tree guards. It's really important for maintaining tree health. So I'm just curious if there are any thoughts or conversations about expanding like some of your other offerings, because you all do so much wonderful work, just to expand those to make those more accessible for other folks.
Yeah, I mean, I probably can't answer that directly or even indirectly, but I will say that I know that the whole team feels there are a lot of reasons we wanted to come here to Bushwick. And one of them is that we know the things you just said, like just by being people who live in the city and participate in all these neighborhoods. And yeah, having like a store, while it is not, we're not doing explicit compost stuff out of it, and we're not doing street tree work directly out of the store. The store is still on the Reeve side of our organization. Just being present is just going to make a difference. There's no way around it. And so that's the softest answer I can give you.
Yeah, and I can add on to that, John, if that's
Yeah,
cool.
please.
Zachary, thank you so much. It's you're speaking words that I think John just said, like we're in these conversations all the time because it's been a flagship program and we just finished the rollout of that first year. We're still navigating, just to be completely transparent, what this looks like. Because making it so affordable has its costs on our end in terms of figuring out the workflow when we have an influx of orders and things like that. All of that being said, we are, depending on, I mean, I'm guessing you're living nearby if you're part of the community board. We are funded through almost all of your neighboring districts. So that's Councilmember Gutierrez, Councilmember Nurse, Councilmember Wrestler. So you could, and it is open to that. We are currently in 13 districts, and we are very much hoping it can spread. Through a DEC grant that we had this past year, we were able to do 50 guards with youth anywhere around the city. That was termed a DAC. That's the government's language. It used to be EJ, stood for Environmental Justice. They recently retermed it by DACs, which is Disadvantaged Communities. So we are always looking for ways to continue and spread this work. If you yourself know of or have any insight into a group interested, we're always looking to take care of trees. So I would be more than happy to have a conversation with you offline to follow up about it, and or to continue reaching out to council members, which is a huge part of my job, to make sure people know about it. Because one of the cool things I think about being at Big Reuse is that we don't really like put out our chest. Like we're not really here to be like, look at us, we're so great. We kind of just want to do the work. And the great part about that is we work with so many people who are equally passionate, but the downside is that sometimes people don't know about the things that we're offering, which is again why it's so great for us to be here tonight and for us to also be opening our store in Bushwick and kind of taking up a little more space and making sure these offerings are well known because they have been supported by your elected officers and so many of your neighbors already know about it, but we want to continue spreading that. Um, So all of that being said, I don't know if you have a follow-up, Zachary, or if you want to email or not, but I'm more than happy to answer if there's
No, hi, I'm Chip Camacho. I just want you, what is DDC, please?
DEC is the Department of Environmental Conservation. That's the state. That's,
Got it.
yeah.
Just, that's why they were inquiring.
Thank you. No, it's hard. There are so many acronyms and they're not always clear. Thank you for that clarifying question. Important.
This is Celeste, the district manager. I also have a question about the lease terms. How long are you going to be in the space, and do you have an option to renew?
We have a 10-year lease, so you guys get us for definitely 10 years, and we do have an option to renew.
Anyone else? After that, we're gonna call it quits because we got another presentation.
Mike Varley, community resident. In your mind, what are some of the hallmarks of a successful year one for you guys? And what are some of the ways you could see the community interfacing with those?
Wow, great question. I feel like I could talk a lot about that. I think that this is our foundation building year. Big Reese has never opened a second store in this way before. This is kind of, we're learning a lot about this process. We're a nonprofit, so this is a very mission-driven goal, like having more stores means getting more waste out of the landfill and getting more reused stuff to people who need it and who want it, and just keeping stuff circular in that way. So building our foundation, just like having a store that works and feels kind of connected. We are, this is well, yeah, I probably can't talk about it much, but we are already talking to our neighbors and a lot of the community events going on. We're excited for Troutman Open Streets, and yeah, talking to the council people, and we want to be an asset to the community. We want to be an institution. We want to be something that supports this neighborhood, and I think that's a lot of foundation building, a lot of listening, a lot of partnering with people, jumping in, trying stuff. So I don't, that's maybe a soft answer. That's my favorite question. So I would happily like hang out afterwards or talk about stuff because we're going to learn all this stuff. But yeah, trying to be humble about the fact that we're learning how to do this as an organization, and we feel really lucky that Bushwick has already, we're not even open, and Bushwick's already like welcoming, like our neighbors coming over, KCBC is letting us borrow their forklift, like stuff that doesn't normally happen. This is not normal, and we feel really lucky.
We have someone here.
Hi,
And-
Stephanie Anderson at committee. I just wanted to say something to Zach over there. Zach, we got our tree guards for our block through Marty Markowitz, borough president. It was the last of his monies, and that's what he gave it to. We had to jump through a lot of hoops, but we did that. Through Mr. Venoso, we got our street paved on Bushwick. Now, this all takes calling and calling and calling, but maybe the borough president may be a good avenue for you to follow.
And I can add to that, actually, we've been in touch with Borough President Reynoso's office and his work with tree guards, and he is interested in doing these, although not necessarily in your neighborhood. But I do believe, to echo your words, that reaching out to the borough president in addition to the council member is a great way to advocate for this work, and using public funds to get access is always the right answer. I also just want to tag on to the end of John's response, which is, I'm saying like it's not really normal to see these things happening in New York. I grew up in a city, my mom's a first generation New Yorker, my dad's an immigrant. The New York City that I grew up in was one where everyone did talk to each other. They communicated. We held on to each other. We were our own support systems, especially when English wasn't a first language and education levels were different. And it's really wonderful to see that happening now, that we have that opportunity opening a new store to get back into community in a way that I don't often always see in the city. And I think that's why I, at least for my part of the work, love being able to work in communities and with people who really care and want to get out there and do the work. So it's just deepening our connection. And I think that's a privilege and a gift, and really excited to continue doing it. We have our opening this weekend, hopefully. We're pending this blizzard, but we've already confirmed we have several council members coming and representing their offices, which again just speaks to their faith in us and what we're doing and our partnership with them and the community at large, not only in your immediate district, but in the surrounding ones, which is, to me, the most humbling. So,
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
thank you.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say this and then I'll stop. My email is at the top left, ZM. I have a very long name, zm@bigreuse.org. Please do not hesitate to reach out for anything at any time. And thank
All
you
right.
again for your time.
Thank you both. We will now move on to the second public hearing item, which is Tyler Rusa, Public Warning Program Manager, NYC Emergency Management, providing a winter weather safety presentation.
How you doing, everyone? Can you hear me okay?
Can.
Great. Well, thank you for being here, and thank you for welcoming me. Again, my name is Tyler Rosa. I'm the Public Warning Program Manager here at New York City Emergency Management, and I'm here tonight to present on a few things. One being preparedness and being ready for emergencies in general. One being Notify NYC, which is a key way you can get emergency alerts or emergency information during different incidents, and then one being on winter preparedness. So what is New York City Emergency Management? So we're a small but mighty agency, and we help New Yorkers before, during, and after different emergencies, different events, and we do that through preparedness, education, and response. Those are our three big areas that we really try to help New Yorkers. We try to help them prepare for emergencies, educate them on what to do during an emergency, and we try to educate them when what we are typically doing when there's a response going on for an emergency, that they can take the necessary actions to make sure that they're being as safe and healthy as possible. In terms of personal emergency preparedness, it really takes 3 simple steps, and I'll go through each one of these in a little bit more detail. But the first big thing is making a plan.
Tyler, excuse me, the presentation isn't up.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, double check to share.
Yeah. Can you see it now?
It's loading. Now it's up.
Great. I am so sorry about that. Okay. Great. So again, in terms of personal emergency preparedness, it just takes three simple steps, right? So the first one is making a plan, and I'll go through each of these in a little bit more depth. The second is gathering supplies, and I'll talk about some of the more key supplies that you'll want to include in your what we call a go bag. And then the main way to stay informed, which will be Notify NYC. Making a plan. So we offer these on our website, but we recommend that every single New Yorker creates an emergency plan. So that's really developing what your emergency support network is, writing down important health and life-saving information. If you have food allergies, what phone numbers are really key. If you have pets, what your plan is for those pets. And then having a transportation plan in case the subway or buses are not running. This is especially important if there's a huge weather emergency, whether that be a hurricane or a huge blizzard or snowstorm. You want to have a plan, and you want to know what you're going to do during any of these incidents, so that should they occur, you're not stuck in the moment in the middle of that emergency trying to figure that out in real time. You know in advance, you're ready, and you can sit comfortably knowing that as something occurs, you know what you're going to do. Include communication in your plan. Again, that's phone numbers. Know when and how to evacuate. So that can be, evacuation in terms of how you're going to get out of your apartment, but that can also possibly be how you're going to get out of your neighborhood, how you're going to get out of your borough. Knowing, am I going to take the public transportation? Do I have a car? Do I have a neighbor that can drive me, etc. And then knowing where your shelters and service centers are in the area. The next part, after you make your plan, so you know what you're going to do, you have your phone numbers together, you have your plan ready, and you know your next steps. you want to create a go bag. So when you do need to take action during an emergency, you want to be able to grab one bag. You're moving quickly. You don't want to have to shove everything in and remember, oh no, do I need water? Do I need a toothbrush? You want to have that in a bag ready to go just in case. So we always recommend that folks pack a go bag in advance. Keep it under your bed. Every now and again, update the supplies in it, but don't worry about it too much. And then if something happens, you have something ready to go and you have something with the necessary supplies to keep you safe. So again, that's going to contain a lot of different things. So on the screen, you see batteries, you see gloves, you see a mask. If there's an air quality issue, you have a mask, a passport, money, and maybe an extra set of glasses, or if you read, reading glasses, and a first aid kit, toothbrush, water. And if you have pets and service animals, maybe you want to keep some additional pet supplies or a storage of pet food in that go bag just in case. So that way you're ready to go when the time comes. These are some other items that you might want to carry or keep in your go bag. So a lot of folks, if they don't keep it in a bag, they'll keep it in one of these blue tubs that you can see here. They'll keep it in a closet, somewhere where they might just keep all of their emergency supplies in one place, but they'll carry lanterns, can openers, some little storage of canned food, some water, and then obviously some of the weather preparedness clothing items that you might need: a rain jacket, boots, socks, a scarf, and then some of the things you might need to eat. So plates, utensils, cups, etc. So again, I've gone through the emergency plan. First, that's the first step. Go and create your emergency plan. Next, pack that go bag or keep that tub, that blue tub full of emergency supplies ready to go. So that if something occurs, you know what you're going to do and the first things that you're going to grab should something occur. Now, the next thing you're going to do is get that awareness. So when an emergency occurs, you want to know when it occurs. And that's where you're going to go to Notify NYC. So Notify NYC is the official source of verified information about city services and emergency events. It allows you to sign up for free alerts that are sent from us in New York City Emergency Management to you through email, text, phone, mobile app, or social media, depending on the way you sign up. And it's very customizable. So if you just want email and text, you can get that. If you say, no, I don't want that, I just want to download the mobile app, that's totally fine. If you want a more passive option, you can follow us on X or Facebook. And you can do any of these options to really get the alerts that you want the way you want to receive them. Our whole goal is to keep New Yorkers safe and informed. And we really believe that an informed New York is a safe and healthy New York. What kind of alerts do you receive? So these are all the different kinds of categories of alerts we might be sending out through Notify NYC. So you might receive weather emergencies. So if there's a big snowstorm, you'll receive information about that. If there's flooding, you'll receive information about that. But we also do more day-to-day quality of life alerts. So we'll let you know when a major train line is not running correctly or suspended for any reason. So the L has an issue where it might be down for hours, we would send that out through Notify NYC. If there's a major traffic disruption on a major bridge or a major roadway, we would let you know. If there's a major planned event that might block a lot of roadways or block parking, we would let you know of that as well. Public health issues, another big one. Some of basement alerts. So if you live in a basement apartment, we always recommend you sign up for Notify NYC, because we will send you preparedness information in advance so that if there's a big flooding event that might flood basement apartments, you know that you need to get out when you need to get out. So again, I'll repeat that. If you live in a basement apartment, Notify NYC is your friend. We want you to sign up because we want you to get that information to know when you might need to leave your apartment during a flooding event. And then there are a few other categories on here that we send as well. But overall, we're trying to get you information for your life safety, but also get you information to really improve your quality of life, so that way you're not stuck in a traffic jam for hours at a time. We do have alerts available in all these languages. So obviously English, but we also have American Sign Language, Korean, Polish, Russian, Spanish, Urdu, Yiddish, and then Arabic, Bengali, Chinese, French, Haitian Creole, and Italian. The easiest way to sign up for any of our alerts in any of these languages is to go to our website. That's nyc.gov/notify. That way you can sign up for all the alerts that you want in the language that you want them. We also have X pages, so formerly Twitter, X pages in all of these languages that if you want a little bit more of a passive option, you can search Notify NYC and then one of these languages and you'll receive the X page in that language. And that'll help you get alerts and keep up to date what's going on, but in that language that you prefer. How to sign up. So that's the big thing. We told you how wonderful the service is. How do you sign up? So the easiest and most simple way, and again, it's all free, is just to text Notify NYC, all one word, to 692-692. Right away, so you send that, you're just going to get your basic citywide alerts, right? Then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to follow up with a zip code. And you send one zip code at a time, and we usually recommend send one for your home, one for your work and your school, but it could also be where your friends are and where you normally hang out. It could be where a loved one lives. And you send all of these zip codes individually, and those will get you alerts. The Notify NYC code that you send will get you citywide alerts or big emergencies, and then the zip codes will get you more localized alerts. And that way you get all the alerts that you need, and you're kind of customizing what alerts you need in order to be as informed as possible. Especially if you need alerts in different languages, we recommend going to the Notify NYC website. That the short link is right there at the end. That'll allow you to sign up in different languages. You can call 311 and ask to be subscribed to Notify NYC. The 311 operator will walk you through all the questions and ask you what you do and do not want to be signed up for. You can follow us on Twitter/X. You can download the Notify NYC mobile app that's in the Google Play Store and the Apple Store. You can follow us on Facebook. And then you can also just visit our website. All of our alerts will always be on our website. If you scan this QR code here, you'll get links to our website, how to download all the mobile apps, depending on the phone that you have, and then all of our X/Twitter pages. So again, if you scan this QR code, you'll get the links to our Spanish Twitter page, our Urdu Twitter page, our Yiddish Twitter page, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a valuable thing to scan. And then here are your next step and resources. So I think the first thing to do for everyone, write down your plan. You can find a plan template at on.nyc.gov/make-a-plan, and then you can get notified. Sign up for Notify NYC in one of the ways I showed you in the previous slide, or just go to our website, nyc.gov/notify, to get all the good information about signing up for Notify NYC. Very quickly, I'm just going to run through winter preparedness. So we're obviously right in the middle of winter. We've had some winter events quite a bit in the past few weeks. Why prepare for winter, right? Winter brings extreme cold, snow, ice, sleet, freezing rain, and all of these different weather conditions can bring disruptions, whether those are utilities, like power outages, transit disruptions because of the roadways. A lot of the snow and ice can land on trees, make them a little bit heavy, and tree branches can fall. There can be health risks, especially for some more vulnerable groups. And there can be flooding if there's any snow melt. And then can be an increased fire and carbon monoxide poisoning, especially as folks might start to use other ways to heat their homes. Again, preparing for winter, it's very similar to preparing for any other weather event. You want to have that plan. Planning is the key. If you plan, you're always going to be safe because you're always going to know what to do when something occurs. But be prepared to shelter in place and heed travel bans. These types of orders are issued by the city when something occurs, like a big snowstorm or a big winter weather event. And you want to again keep those in mind and pay attention to those, because those are going to tell you when you need to not be out when traveling in order to keep safe. And again, sign up for Notify NYC. Winterize your supplies. So we talked about creating those emergency supplies, whether in that blue tub or in that go bag, but you're always going to want to keep stuff to keep warm during the winter, especially here in New York City. So add that blanket, add warm socks, add gloves to your go bag, just in case there's an emergency during the winter. And make sure you're able to, you have enough food and supplies to sustain you for up to 7 days without power. Just in case something occurs, you don't want to be stuck without food and necessary supplies, especially if you have medication or anything that you need for a 7 day period, and that medication might need to be refrigerated. You want to have enough, so just plan in advance. We always recommend also you include extra blankets, warm clothing, and then a battery operated radio to monitor winter weather conditions. During winter storm or extreme cold, call 311 to report dangerous conditions, down trees, electricity, or heat loss. If you see someone in need of assistance or you see a condition in your neighborhood that you're not sure is being addressed by the city, call 311, let someone know. Really, we really depend on the public to let us know when something is going on, because sometimes we can't be everywhere, especially when it's hard to be out and traveling. So please don't ever hesitate to call 311 when you might see a dangerous condition that might need to be addressed. Check on your neighbors. We are a community. Community is so important, and honestly, this is how some of our most vulnerable populations receive the most help and care, is when neighbors are checking in on other neighbors. So if you know someone that lives near you that might live alone, or they might need help, or they might be having some trouble, just check in on them, especially when there's an extreme cold or winter event. You never know what they might need. And then clear snow and dangling ice from roofs, curb cuts, hydrants, anything you see on outside of your property. Snow removal, who cleans what? So this is a commonly asked question. So New York City Department of Sanitation cleans streets, sidewalks or crosswalks, and bus stops without shelters. Parks cleans sidewalks, crosswalks near and in parks. The Department of Transportation clears bridges and overpasses. GC Deco is a franchisee of Department of Transportation, clears the bus shelters. NTA clears the entrances to subways, and then New Yorkers like yourselves clear the sidewalks and driveways in front of private properties. And then this is just talking about using portable heating equipment and being sure you're being safe. Only use portable heating equipment that is approved for indoor use. This is a common, when you don't do this, this can cause fires. So make sure your portable heating equipment is approved for indoor use. That should say it on the packaging. And then follow these guidelines. So plug your space heater directly into the wall outlet. Keep your space heater at a safe distance, at least 3 feet away from kids, pets, and flammable items. You don't want that space heater heat anything up and cause anything to catch on fire. And then buy a unit with an automatic shut off just in case the unit tips over or you forget to shut off. Maybe you're rushing out the door to work and you forget, and then it falls over and lights something on fire. You really want to avoid that. So just double check that your unit has all of those features if you use a portable, any type of portable heating equipment. Then again, keep furniture, drapes, carpeting at least 3 feet away from the heater, and never drape clothes over a space heater to dry. Always keep an eye on your heating equipment. Never leave children alone in a room with heating equipment. And then be careful not to overload electrical circuits. Don't use extension cords to plug in your space heater, and make sure you have a working smoke alarm in every room. That's going to be the key, right? Because that's going to tell you if something does unfortunately catch on fire, that'll be the first thing to let you know. All right, and thank you so much for being patient throughout this. That's the end of my presentation, but can I answer any questions?
Any questions?
We have a few in person.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Felix Ceballos. I'm the CB4 member. Thank you for the presentation. When we're talking about storm, especially when we say snowstorm, it's something very dangerous. I want to know if you can talk a little more about when the electricity went out in the whole community. Thank you.
Talk specifically about when the electricity goes out in the whole community. So whenever there's a power outage, especially for Con Ed customers, I know that utility providers are always out and about and trying to fix that as quickly as possible. Especially during weather events where trees might fall on power lines. What utility providers are doing and trying to fix it. And what we always recommend if you sign up for Notify NYC, we'll tell you when there's a power outage. We'll tell you how to stay safe during power outage. And that includes not touching live power lines. And also if just in case that utility provider has not responded yet, making sure you call your utility provider to report the outage. We also recommend you don't open your fridges to prevent any food spoilage during that time. So if there's ever a widespread power outage, make sure you report it to your utility provider. Make sure, again, you have those emergency supplies so you can stay warm, especially in terms of heat, but also make sure you're staying away from power lines and not allowing your food to spoil by opening the fridge.
Any other questions? Are there any on Zoom? Thank you very much for this presentation. Thank you. All right, this is the end of the public hearing. We have our elected official, Assemblywoman Marita Davila, if she want to speak. So we could give her a couple of words and give us a dividing attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Camacho. Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year to all of you. I try to come at least once a year. Please forgive me. I just got home from Albany, and it was it's a tremendous ride coming back and forth. But nevertheless, I didn't want to miss this. I came just to give you a little bit of an update as to what we're working on in the budget. We are currently working on the food insecurities. And with that said, I think a lot of people understand that food stamps, if you lose them, a lot of you have heard that a lot of people have food stamp theft, and they cannot recover that money again. So we have been working on a piece of legislation through Assemblywoman Jessica Gonzalez Rojas. That's a security measure. So everyone on food stamps would receive this special card that's going to provide at least 90% coverage on food stamp theft. So that's something we're working on. Secondly, we are currently working on, because again, the federal government, right? We all know what's going on there. We have been seeing the impact that ICE has had in every state, particularly now the focus is on Minnesota. I'll let you know, my father's side of the family, my aunts, my grandmother, they all live in Minnesota. Don't ask me, they went from Puerto Rico to a crazy cold place, but there's a story behind that. Am I fearful for them? Absolutely. Here in New York, through the state legislature, we understand that we cannot stop ICE from showing up. But the legislation we are trying to pass in the budget is a piece of legislation that's going to require them. If you're coming after a criminal, you're coming after a criminal. Everybody that you pick up is not a criminal. We've been seeing that. And here in New York, what we are demanding is that, one, you have to unmask yourself. Number two, and these are the things that we have control over, because the federal government is the federal government. Number two, if they're going to go and pick up a so-called criminal, they must provide proof of that. because what's happening is that they're running amok everywhere. I'm the law. I'm the law. They're picking up people, citizens. Over 70 people have died in ICE custody. 70. And it keeps climbing and climbing. And this is just for a lot of them health issues young, because they're not provided with the proper medical assistance that they need. We're working on other pieces of legislation, such as the fiscal cliff bill, which I have passed 3 years in a row. It's a bill that is both Republicans and Democrats have signed unanimously, have voted it unanimously. It is my bill. And what it does, as the chair of social services in the state, it helps to find out the cliff when people are on any type of assistance, why towards the end, when they're reaching a certain crescendo, they end up falling back into the system. We need to remediate that. We need to make sure that that doesn't happen anymore. And that is, I don't know why the governor keeps vetoing it. She said, they say she doesn't like committees. This does require a committee, a bipartisan committee. And I guess she doesn't want us to tell her how to do this. That's fine. I'm going to keep pushing. I'm also working on a criminal justice reform package, particularly elder parole. We have a lot of old folks that are dying in prison because of lack of medical attention. If you haven't gotten a death sentence, I don't think that you should be in prison to die. So that's some of the stuff. I'm also working on a domestic violence bill that will definitely, hey, listen, if you are a repeat offender, we have to save the people that are being abused. And I take that really personally. So I'm working on some legislation to be able to find a medium in which a repeat, I didn't say first time because things happen in life, right? But repeat offenders. So I am here to tell you what we're currently working on is a lot more. It's a $250 billion budget. I can't give you everything in one sitting, but I'm open for any. First of all, I want to thank all of you for volunteering. I want to thank this man. He's my biggest headache. But it's okay because I'm his biggest headache. That means we're getting the work done, period. All right? So, and Celeste, thank you. And thank you to all of you that are volunteering your time to understand where this community comes from. We both grew up here. All right? We've been here over 60 years. I'm not going to tell you my age, but we've been here over 60 years. We've seen it burn down. We saw it come up. And we're still fighting. And we will stay fighting. We from these streets, as they say in the hood, So I just want you to be a little empathetic about that situation and understand that there was a community way before even my grandchildren were thought about. And so I just want people to work together so that we can make the community as it is now, as vibrant and beautiful, no longer burnt down. We have youth centers. People can walk in the streets safely. And it's the seventh most wonderful place in the world to visit. Don't take it from me, take it from Vogue. Okay? All right? We have a lot more work to be done. The only thing I'm asking is let's not go back into time. We're not going back. We want to maintain what we have now. And the only way we do that is by understanding each other. God bless you. I cannot stay. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate all of you, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblywoman Marissa. I love you so. Any questions? Oh, I think there's some. Yeah, you could use that.
Hello, Assemblywoman. Thank you so much for coming. I just want to first of all say, Zachary Hendrickson, CB4 board member. Just want to first of all say thank you for the incredible legislation that you're working on. Really means a lot to know that we have someone championing such important issues up there in Albany. My question to you is about the budget and wondering if you plan to advocate for taxing the rich, talking about 2% tax on people making over $1 million a year, which should generate $4 billion according to estimates. I know that's a big contentious issue, and I'd just love to know kind of where you stand on that.
We have been trying to do that for years. And every time we have that conversation, unfortunately, the governor doesn't want to do that. And understand, when it's an election year, right? I believe there is going to be an increase in tax. I don't know where exactly, but it's not going to be the rich. Just understand that. No, it's not going to be us either. No. It might be in some type of like vaping type of something that's not, that people are not going to have to, everybody's like, what? No, we wouldn't let that happen. Oh, we're not going to let that happen. But I could give you further information. You go to my office. I'll let you know exactly what that's going to look like in the budget.
I really appreciate that. If I could just very quickly follow up, I hope you keep pushing because we need it. So I appreciate that, and I know you will.
Thank you. These veins, I'm a push.
Thank you.
Yes. She has a question, and then.
Hi, Nancy, CB4 member. Thanks so much for coming. Can you speak more on how you want to protect New Yorkers against ICE, and do you abolish ICE?
And I have to be extremely clear. We are the state. If it were for me and my colleagues, we would abolish ICE yesterday. Yesterday. They honestly, they play no real role in society other than fear. I am a Latina woman. I could be walking down these streets and stopped anytime. You're Asian, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to assume. I'm just saying. You could be stopped. Right? What we are doing in Albany is ensuring that if they're in here to do their jobs, that they're going to do their jobs appropriately. No mask. You're not going to put fear in our hearts, because I'm going to be honest with you, my community will fight. They'll stand up on all sides. They will fight. And so with that said, what we want, if we cannot stop the federal government from coming in, at least we can implement laws that the state can control, such as if you're going to come and pick up the criminals, you need to provide the proof that there is that criminal that you're coming to get, and that a judge signed that execution. Not that you're going to walk around the community picking everybody up because you have a quota that you have to accomplish. So that's one. The paperwork and the unmasking. You have to take the mask off. You cannot terrorize communities like that. And it's going to come to a boil. It's happening in Minnesota. We have a dense city. That's not going to happen here. It's already happening, but they're coming in very quietly. They're not doing what they're doing. But we have to push for these laws because it's out of our control. It really is, like so many other things with the federal government. We got to talk to our Congress people so that they can stand up a lot tougher, a lot harder, because, listen, doesn't take a blind person to see what's going on. And fear is keeping people from speaking up. There's only a couple of people that speak up in Congress. Let's be honest. So our Congresswoman is one of them. She speaks up. But whoever is going to be there should be where there's going to be 60 Congress people leaving the federal government. 60. Fear. Fear does that. Okay? So we're going to be making sure that we monitor our communities and that it doesn't happen here. It's not.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Felix Ceballos again. Marisa Davila, thank you for all those very important information you brought to us. I know Marisa for a long time. Thank you for you always supporting the community, and thank you for the job you do in Albany. What I think is, after Marisa, we have to come together and support also the community in any way we can. Thank you.
I didn't pay him to say those things, okay? I did not. And he is our district leader, so give him a big round of applause. Any other questions? All right. Oh, I have a young man and then a young lady. Oh, where? I'm sorry? Zoom.
So
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's someone from the borough president's office. Do you have a question for the assemblywoman, Katrina? Yeah, I don't think so. I think the hand's just been raised since the beginning of the meeting. Gio, who's not present in person? Okay.
So they have it.
So if he's not a panelist, then he's not technically present for this meeting. So he can drop it in the chat and we can always follow up with the assemblywoman. All right.
Sorry, Gio. Who else? You want to come to the front?
Hi, thank you for coming. My name is Samuel Hirsch. I'm just a member of the public. I know this is a tough question, but I've been reading that it is right. The laws that you're talking about sound really great about masking, but I'm wondering about enforcement of those laws. Is it within? Right, there's state troopers. That would be with. I mean, I know this is dark.
Can you speak a little louder so I can hear you?
Okay, I'm wondering about the enforcement of the laws that you are putting forward, the legislation that you're putting forward about masking and about having court orders. What discretion do you have for enforcing that legislation if it is broached by ICE, and what discretion would you imagine you would exercise in enforcing that legislation?
Well, I think that in the state of the state, the governor spoke about it. Part of the legislation, if anyone breaks that law, will automatically have a lawsuit on the hands of the federal government. And that's basically what we can do. If anyone is wrongly held hostage, because that's what I call it, if anyone is harassed, is an automatic lawsuit to the federal government. And so our governor has to make sure that's in writing in order to protect innocent people. Did that answer your question?
I was thinking specifically about something the governor of Minnesota said, I think last week, about technically it was within their legal purview for the police to arrest ICE if they were breaking the law, but they did not want to do that because that would be a breach to civil society. And I think that's a tough situation. I just am curious if that's something on the table for you in your situation.
It is a tough situation to be in. I cannot speak for the city or how all of these negotiations are going right now, but I promise I'll come back and give you full details. I'll even give you the piece of legislation so you can read it. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Sure. I think there was, I'm sorry, I took up your meeting.
Gio, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Gio Justiniano, CB4. Just for the record, I do have a remote waiver. Maritza, thank you for coming in person. Personally, I wish that all of our, our representatives, can come at least once a quarter, but I understand you all are busy. I, as a constituent, have been trying to contact your office based off of a previous conversation we had on Wyckoff with a business owner with regard to nightlife. You seem very enthusiastic about it, but I've yet to receive a response from your office or your team. I was wondering if there's someone I can contact for that.
Absolutely. You should tomorrow early, the earlier the better. Well, by 9:30 in the morning. Contact Joseph Yanis and let him know that we had a conversation. The number is 718-443-1205. If Joseph is not available, you want to come to the front? Debbie Villanueva can also pick up your call and set up a personal meeting with me. Okay, Gio?
Perfect. Thank you, Maritza.
Thank you. I think someone else had their hands up. That's it? Okay, well, thank you so much. Oh, one more?
Go ahead, Zuma.
Yes, hi there. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Hello, Zuma. We can't hear you.
You can hear me?
Better now.
Okay, sorry about that. Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, Assemblywoman, for coming. This is Zena Voa, Community Board Member 4.
You're gonna have to speak up, Z.
Oh,
Only
I'm
some of us
sorry.
can hear you.
I apologize. I just want to say thank you for coming and everything. This is another question, just totally different. Do you have anything for veterans coming back home after serving and finally becoming here in this, being back home finally? Do your office provide any type of services?
There is a slew of services for veterans on the state side. If you'd like, you can call my office. I can give you an entire list of that. Because again, as the chair of social services, veterans, seniors, all of these different committees, we all work together. But I, off the top of my head, I can't give you the list. But if you call my office, I promise you I'll give you the entire list.
Thank you. Outstanding. Looking forward to seeing you. Thank you so much.
Okay,
ma'am.
same here. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Marissa Davila, for a
Thank you
wonderful.
all. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. First roll call.
Before we get into the first roll call, I'm going to invite board members to quietly help themselves to some food this evening. If you have not signed in, please sign in. Please sign in. All right. Sign-in sheets there.
I gotta call you. We're updating our inventory list. Put you on that one. Now, a lot of information about the church. Of course, it's not important, but want to get the person.
Absolutely. So hold anytime. I heard that you might be in part of the block association.
Sign in so I can do the roll call. Isa Abni, Stephanie Anderson, Siani Belliard.
Hello, please, there's a roll call being done. Thank you.
Joanna Bennett, Robert Camacho. Tevin Campbell has moved out of state and is no longer serving on the board. Felix Ceballos. Andrew Choi.
Present.
Alvina Davis has resigned. Freddie Fowler is excused. Joanna Fuentes. Alan Gamboa.
Present.
Jason Gares. Christopher Graham. Ann Guiney. Elaine Hamilton is absent. She informed the district office. Zachary Hendrickson, Courtney Henley, Deborah Hicks,
Here.
Tanisha Honeygan,
Present.
Barbara Jackson, Virgie Jones,
Present.
Tara Jones Thomas, Luisa Jose, Giovanni Justiniano.
Present.
Sorry about the mix-up, Gio.
Thank
Nancy
you.
Keith, Cindy Lebron, Christine Meldon, Freddie Madison is resigned, Alex Moreno, Ramika Nichols Barnes is excused, Zuma Navoa,
Present.
Zuma,
Present.
thank you. Cirillo Nunez, Shrey Richardson, Pablo Rivera, Raul Rubio, Eliseo Ruiz, Josue Salazar, Milagro Sandoval, got you. Juan Sarah is absent, informed the district office. Annette Spellin, Beast Peterman, James Stewart, Savannah Tai, Christian Tate, Ben Tucker, Jerry Valentine,
Present.
Linda Whitfield. All right, I know there's some folks that may be on Zoom. You have to please be patient. We don't have a dedicated staff member working on Zoom as per the notice that went out. I will check momentarily to see if there's anyone else that needs to be promoted to panelist. Any board member with a remote waiver will receive or should receive a panelist invitation moving forward. This is something we're doing for the first time, so
Hello. Please, please. Thank you.
we thank you for understanding. You could let me finish it. Thank you for understanding and your patience while we figure this out. Now I'll do the tally. "27 board members present constitutes a quorum." Actually, we have 45. Step back, we need one more board member. I'm going to do the tally again just to see.
Yeah, thank you.
27 board members, we are set, constitutes a quorum. Thank
Yes.
you, everyone.
Thank you. Yes,
What a relief. Good job. All right, we will move on now to the acceptance of the agenda. Is there a motion from the board? Raul Rubio made a motion. Annette Spellin seconds. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. Acceptance of the previous meeting minutes. Is there a motion from the board? James Stewart makes the motion. Is there a second? Raul Rubio seconds. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. And we have agenda item number 4. I don't believe our parliamentarian is here this evening. If anything, we can come back to this later. The 83rd precinct, we have our deputy inspector with us.
Hello. Please, could you please keep it down? Thank you. We're conducting our business and we need inspector.
Yeah.
Inspector, could you please come up to the podium? Thank you. In regards to our new inspector, please give me your divided attention, please. Hello.
Good
Thank
evening.
you. Hello.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for braving the cold weather. I am Deputy Inspector Maffey, the commanding officer, 83rd Precinct.
Hello. She's not here. Please, hello. Could you please keep it down? Thank you.
So for everyone out in the Zoom universe, if you're not here, obviously in person, you don't get to witness Camacho's awesome tie. It's pretty awesome. So yes. So just an update from when I was last year. There was a issue with the department website. It wasn't updated properly. That should have been addressed with the current updated information. Was also asked a question about a arrest at a bar club establishment on Hazley Street. So that was an arrest conducted by outside agencies and an outside precinct. The 83rd didn't really have any information on that. However, there was an arrest made regarding the storage of narcotics at that location. The location is sealed and closed and not currently operating. It was also raised, there was a condition regarding a hydrant. It was hard for us to find the exact location. I think I found it. I actually got the individual's number now, so I can pinpoint it. We did issue 2 summonses on that corridor, but I don't know if the hydrant that we addressed was the hydrant of concern. So we had to iron out that, which we did now. In addition, Broadway and Myrtle, there was it was a smoke shop takedown in November. That was conducted by the neighboring command. So the 83rd didn't have much to do with that. However, that happened November 13th. There was arrest made. A follow-up with that would be with the 81st precinct, because that's in that jurisdiction. And then it was asked regarding Broadway and Myrtle, just narcotics prone for whatever reason. So I did a 3-year look back. In 3 years, there's been 85 911 calls for narcotics there. The question was, why is it occurring there? So several reasons, based on my opinion. So there's a transit facility there. Some people go up in the transit site. I was reading some of the 911 calls. Some of them are up there using narcotics. Also, there's a hotel by there. So the problem is, not that it's a problem, but a lot of those calls are anonymous, and that very much restricts the ability for the officers to address the condition. If someone lives in that area and has or have seen narcotics use and they want to report it, you can still remain anonymous with us by still giving us your information, similar to how this gentleman did. No one's going to know who you are, but I can ask you more detailed questions. Understand? So that's how we can try to better address that. As I get into the crime strat, I just want to stress I'm going to talk about crimes, and then, we're actually doing quite well. So some crimes are decreasing, but once there's one crime, we've already failed. Every crime has a victim. There's no such thing as a victimless crime. And my goal is to have 0 crimes. All right. So once we get one, we've already messed up. Right. I shouldn't have a job. That's my goal. So for 2025, the 83rd precinct was down in crime by 8%, which is pretty good. The transit districts in the precinct, TD 33, only made up 1% of our total crime. Domestic violence made up 15%. Our sector, David, had the most crime with 34%. As far as robberies go, down 38%. Most of our robberies were juvenile based, approximately 30%. That's our robberies right now are the lowest they've been in over a decade. Our assaults dropped too by 7%. Most of our assaults were domestic violence related. Our burglaries dropped by 30%, the lowest number in over a decade. Residential burglaries are what we're seeing the most of. And then we have a split 15% commercial burglaries, 15% vehicular burglaries. GLAs also went down by 18%. Half the GLAs were vehicles. The most commonly stolen vehicle was a Honda. The other half are 2-wheel devices, which could vary. Moped, scooter, Vespa, e-bike, anything on 2 wheels that's getting stolen. That was a GLA. That was the other half of that. And then as far as what I'm seeing now, the only crime we were up in last year was grand larcenies. We were up 17%, mostly from our clubs and mostly from our cars. And I'm going to get into more detail on that shortly. Another quick update as I move to 2026 regarding the gun violence that I described last time that occurred on December 14th at the Food Bazaar. No arrest has been made yet. The case is still open. We did take another unfortunate incident of gun violence on January 11th. A male was shot one time in his right leg. This was at a community space event in one of the buildings over there by 115 Stanwyck. That case is still open. No arrests have been made yet. However, our investigation is showing that the people that went to that space, for the most part, weren't from the neighborhood. the people that committed the violence at that location weren't from the neighborhood. That's what we've been able to discover so far. Okay, back to grand larcenies. So that's our biggest crime, both numerically and increased percentage-wise. Clubs, bars is driving our number with that. Unattended property and pickpockets. Unattended property, I just left my radio on the table over there. Now I have my officer Lopez guarding it, but I left it unattended. If I go get a drink or go to the bathroom, I come back and that's gone. Yeah, I didn't see who stole it, but it's still someone took it. That's unattended property. That happens a lot at these establishments. And then just traditional straight up pickpockets. There's a few amount of people in the city that actually do that professionally. They go around in groups, they hit different bars and clubs, and they actually pickpocket people. The good thing is we've been able to identify a lot of them. So now we can get ahead of the game when they come to our community. As far as the clubs, my data shows that within the command, we have 90 licensed premises. 90. I have something that tells me the command is 2 square miles. So within 2 square miles, 90 bars and clubs. That's a lot. So I came up with a plan to address that, a nightlife plan. It's going to incorporate meeting with the establishments because we both want the same thing. I don't want crime happening there, and neither do the establishments, right? Because they want to stay open. So we've been meeting with some of them, not an official community council meeting, but just meeting and greeting, introducing myself, setting up contacts, stuff like that. We've also increased the deployment in our club zone. We have 17 bars and clubs in a little few block area from Jefferson to Willoughby, Star, Troutman, Irving, St. Nicholas, that kind of corner of Sector David. We have 17 establishments there, and that's kind of driving the grand larceny number. So I have foot posts out there. I'm planning to extend their hours into the closing of the bars too, because the bars close at around 4, so I got to keep those cops working till then. The other crime that we're seeing a lot is car breaks. So I think I mentioned this last time, but your traditional break the window, steal the stuff from the car. So you don't want to leave valuables exposed in the car or just valuables in the car regardless. People do walk around and check car doors, and people in this neighborhood leave their cars unlocked. So lock your cars, don't leave anything exposed. And then a very difficult crime is the cat converters. These are very professional individuals that come with tools, equipment. They jack up the car. They can cut the cat converter in about 90 seconds and drive away. So very difficult to address that. We did make a great arrest 2 weeks ago where we caught 2 individuals that do this regularly. I know that because they had other cat converters on their possession. So we made a great arrest with that. They're not from the neighborhood. I'm now tracking them and monitoring them. Hopefully they don't return. That is my crime update. And I will open it up to if anyone has any questions. Thank you.
All right, I got one here. Anyone else on this side? Please let me know like that. I don't have to run around after the fact.
Good evening, Felix Ceballos, CB4 member. I think I asked you before, but I going to talking about that again. It's about the checkpoint. Also, today was one after in D car after Broadway, and they stopped me, and that's good because it's something is very important for the community. They can control about anybody driving. My question is in our area here in Bushwick, is maybe some possibility we have checkpoint in some location in the community? Thank you.
Yeah, we regularly do checkpoints within the command. Part of that is to fight crime. Part of that is just to address vehicular accidents. A lot of times, like you mentioned, you got stopped. Most of the people don't get a summons when they go through a checkpoint. We'll give them a flyer for safety. So that's kind of one of the reasons we do it, is to educate people as well. So if you see a checkpoint, doesn't necessarily mean something bad happened, but it might mean that we just want to let the area know we're in the area, and we're around, and just kind of control the intersection just to make sure everything that happens there while we're there is safely done. That's the idea with the checkpoint.
Anyone else? If none, I just have, could you tell me what is GLA and the reason why it's so high? Because I want this community to know what that means and what's going on in this community. And we also have to echo, after he tells you, I would like to speak in regards to our GLA, in regards to services and sports things that we have in GLA. He's gonna let you know, which is
Grand larceny auto, so a car is being
and,
stolen.
and also our kids, our youth, our parks are 12 and under. Once you hit 12 years old, you got to go out. And we have parks in within Bushwick that are 13, 14, 15, and 18 can utilize it. But they can't utilize it because these parks are 12 and under. So we really need to focus on our kids too and work on our kids to make sure that they don't go to them. Our youth and our kids. And you've been reading 18 and under are the ones that have been doing all the shootings. So, everybody comes with statistic and numbers, but they don't come with the real statistic, which is our kids. So we really need to start doing programming in some of these parks where our kids are getting disenfranchised and pushed out. So we really need to start working. All of us need to start working, because I know a lot of kids, when they go to the park, they say they can't use the park. And it's kind of sad. So we really need to work. And also, I want to thank you, because I know I got a call recently in regards to an incident with an individual, and one of the board members sent it out, but we don't work Saturday and Sunday. But I looked at my email, and they sent an individual was walking around with an open knife with a mega hat in Bushwick. So they're here, walking around with a knife, open, walking with a mega hat. So imagine you're walking on Knickerbocker and he sticks a knife down your back and you don't know who he is. And I want to thank the person that sent the picture, the photo, and the thing. And I want to thank the inspector for doing his due diligence. I don't know what occurred or what happened, but we got to look out for each other, man. It's important. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes that item. We will now move on to the introduction of elected officials and other representatives. Please come to the front if you're here in person, name and contact information only, and raise your hand if you're on Zoom.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jackie Reyes, Deputy Chief of Staff to Assemblymember Eric Martin Delon. Our office is located at 366 Cornelia Street. Our phone number is 718-386-4576. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Fran from Councilmember Sandy Nurse's office, 718-642-8664 at 56 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Good evening, everyone. Maria Valdez from the Office of Senator Julia Salazar. Phone number 718-573-1726. We're located at 212 Evergreen Avenue.
And hello, everyone. I'm Juan Mayanceta from Councilmember Jennifer Gutierrez's office. Our address is 244 Union Avenue. Phone number is 718-963-3141.
Good evening, everyone. Jonathan Betancourt here representing Congresswoman Nydia Velasquez. Our office is in Williamsburg at 266 Broadway, Suite 201 on the second floor. And office phone number 718-599-3658. Thank you.
All right, on Zoom, go ahead, Jonathan.
Good evening, everyone. This is Jonathan Pomboza. I bring greetings from District Attorney Eric Gonzalez. Our offices are located at 350 J Street, and our phone number is 718-250-2340. Thank you.
All right, the Borough President's Office. Katrina. Okay. For some reason, we can't hear you. There will be another opportunity later. If there are no other elected officials or any other organizational, business, or other representatives that would like to introduce themselves right now, going once, going twice. All right, we will move on to committee reports, starting with civic public safety, religious, health, human service, senior citizens, veterans.
Good evening. I'm Annette Spellin from the Civic Public Safety, Health, Human Resources, Senior Citizens, Health, and Veteran Committee. That should tell you something. We need some help around here. Our committee met at 6 p.m. on Thursday, January 8th at the Community Board office. We had a public presentation by Julia Cumberson, who introduced herself as the Community Engagement Manager South, and her colleague, Leila Molina, Youth Engagement Manager at New York City Smoke Free and Public Health Solutions, PHS. They provided an informal presentation on PHS New York Smoke Free initiative and programs. They opened by stating that, unfortunately, recently they lost their state funding. Ms. Cumberson stated that the PHS focuses on creating smoke-free spaces in Brooklyn and Staten Island. She emphasized the importance of meeting with community boards, organizations, and elected officials, and provided an outline of their mission to end the tobacco epidemic in New York City while highlighting the challenges. Their program addresses the e-cigarette epidemic and the adoption of smoke-free housing, as well as voluntary smoke-free policies for employers and faith-based organizations. Ms. Molina provided a 2023 New York City Youth Risk Behavior Survey statistic, which showed that 9,000 public high school students smoke cigarettes and 32,000 use e-cigarettes or vapes. Their program is the Reality Check, which includes leadership development, public speaking skills, and political engagement. It provides opportunities for the students to work with peers from other boroughs and states. They also have two other initiatives: smoke-free housing, which would create smoke-free residential buildings, while tobacco-free outdoors would target employers and faith-based organizations. Committee member Pablo Rivera expressed concerns about our teens and the rise of marijuana use and the use of e-cigarettes for the purpose of smoking marijuana. The presenters acknowledged the issue, but stated that their program focuses on tobacco products. Ms. Molina further stated that there is a lack of federal marijuana studies due to its recent legalization. Committee member Zachary Hendrickson asked about strategies to combat systematic issues like social media advertising for tobacco products. Ms. Cumberson explained their limitations in advocating for legislative changes, but highlighted their efforts to educate youth and community members. Mr. Camacho suggested linking the presenters with parent coordinators, high school superintendents, and other community organizations for the purpose of presenting their program. I informed the presenters that the community board has an annual health fair and invited them to join in the activities in June. The other business for our committee was that we had 4 fires in Bushwick. Those of us who've lived here most of our lives know Bushwick burned. We don't want to hear about fires, so please take your time to check out your wiring. Don't let people bring those bikes into your house. Don't let them charge their batteries in your house, because we don't want to see it burn. I and Miss Louisa, where is she? Miss Louisa, where did she go? She was serving the dinner. She and I attended the Wyckoff Hospital Monthly Family Community Meeting on December 10th. We went there with the question about the Wyckoff Diabetes Center on Myrtle Avenue. We were advised that due to financial issues, that's why it wasn't open. However, things have changed. They anticipate opening that center by the end of this year, 2026. Any questions or issues that you may have in relation to Wyckoff Hospital, please notify the community board, or for those of you who have my number, give me a call and we'll present it at the monthly meeting and come back with your answers. Any questions? Thank you.
Next, we have the district office report. Mr. Camacho.
Yes, we met on Thursday, January 15 at 6 p.m. There was a discussion, as you know, Kimberly is no longer with the board. Thank you. I know a lot of board members went by her last day on Friday, brought her flowers and stuff, and congratulated her and thank you. We also had a nice dialogue with some of the board members that were there. It was real nice to see you support her. There's only there was a recommendation in regards to their attendance. It was two board members that there is a recommendation in regards to removing. The committee made a recommendation to remove them from the board because of TNA. I will, on recommendation, gives you the names and the two people that are, so we could do a full vote on that. Also, we made it much easier for board members. You don't have to go to 500 different committee meetings. One committee is significant, and the board, full board meeting. So we don't want to burden you guys out with all these meetings that everybody want to go, and then that reflects your TNA, and we submit it to Borough Hall. So before they get rid of you, I prefer doing my due diligence under the city charter and remove you through a vote. And either we do it or they're going to do it because you haven't been here or you were appointed to the board and haven't come. So also we had a discussion about 1420 Bushwick, our office. The place is not in good conditions. We met with the property that the CBO that has it, and we indicated. We also, on my other recommendations on my thing, we met with our elected officials too, and discussing, because we know that we have a new mayor, and he's looking for new housing. This is a city building. So why not CB4 take control of what we have and make sure that we could do affordable housing in these open spaces that are there? That building has been 100 years and no more, less than 20% occupied. And it's a beautiful building, man. It's a beautiful building, so we need to do something. And it got parking, but they want to remove the parking. They're talking about building something there, so we're going to see what we can do. We're meeting with our elected officials. We're talking to him because he's been there for over 35 years, Dr. Igwe. I know Dr. Igwe was on this board in the 80s, so I know him very well. And I specifically told him he said he has a plan. He told us the plan for 2 years. I still didn't see a plan. So either we start with our own plan or we're going to do our own plan and his plan is going to go down the window. So I made it clear. He wasn't happy. He said he will get back to us. I said not 2 years from now, tomorrow. And if we don't, we're going to do what we have to do to make sure that we fulfilled that place. The heating, the electrician, the pets, the mice, the roaches, the birds, the maintenance. It doesn't look good. So we really need to work together and make sure that we take the forefronts in regards to the affordability that comes through Bushwick. Also, let me make sure I finish with action, district office, future planning. Next step, we're meeting. Next step is we're meeting with HRA and organize a tour with the Building Family Services Network, our councilperson, and also CB4. Board leaders requested to update from Family Services Networks as early as February, and for them to present a detailed plan for the building's future at our upcoming committee meeting. So we need them to come and tell us what they expect to do on the next committee. And any other updates and plans we'll share with the full board and elected officials and the board committee to assure transparency. And that is it, correct? Yes, Celeste is nodding yes, so yes, it is. And that's my full report. On the recommendations, I will give you the two individuals that are they requested for removal. And to be fair, they did send notices. They did phone calls, and with no prevail, no info. So it shouldn't take long. Thank you. Any questions?
My suggestion is to contact Family Services Network. Community Board 4 is not responsible for leasing their property.
Yeah, we don't want to get into any conflict of interest or making deals, like Monty Hall.
All right. If there are no other questions for the district office report, going once, going twice, we will move on now to the chairperson's report, Mr. Camacho.
Crazy, but on Friday, December 19 at 11, CB4 meeting with the councilperson staff in regards, and our chair from Housing and Land Use and our district manager in regards to 954 Flushing. She'll fill you in on the rest. I'm just want to give you the details of where I've been and what I've been doing. 1 p.m. CB4 with elected official in Riseboro. Thank you, Riseboro. They are addressing some of the issues and concerns in their building. They're doing a wonderful job. They also are taking care of whatever needs to be taken care of. But we want to make sure we put them on the P's and Q's. At 2 p.m. CB4 on Zoom with the new staff from Borough Hall. We have a new staff member. Me and Celeste met with her. Also on Tuesday, the 23rd, at 6 p.m., I went to Latinos Unidos. As you know, they do a fundraiser in the name of Barbara Smith and give the toys to our kids. It was a good drive. It wasn't, I know a lot of people wasn't too happy. A lot of people didn't turn out. It wasn't a lot of, but the point was to do a fund to get kids, and they got $1,500, and they gave all the kids toys in Latinos Unidos, and I want to thank the person that owns it. He allowed them to give the kids the toys and whatever it was, and it was a wonderful turnout. On Monday, January 5th at 12 o'clock, CB4 meeting, we came in the office. She broke down. We had to make sure before she leave, which she didn't have anything, that she gave all the stuff, find out what she was, because that's the city does that, cross references to what she has. We had to make sure that, she exonerated her time because we didn't want to have nobody not pay. So I've been doing that and making sure that Celeste does her vacations, but now she's going to go more. She's going to need another vacation because she's the only one, her and a part-timer. So we are working on getting someone. We're going to post it. It's going to be posted. We're doing our due diligence now, not now, but fast. We need it right away because Celeste will be pulling my hair every day if she's is already gone. If she's short and staff, and maybe we might need volunteers to assist us, maybe answering the phone, or if she's in the meeting, maybe coming in the morning and let's see, I don't know. We got to think out the box to make sure that that office stays open. I want that office at 9 o'clock because a lot of times our seniors and our people like to get up early in the morning. We're not like the new people that wake up party time the next day. So we want to make sure that we serve everyone. So, and close at 5. And Celeste's not the only one. She's always there till 7. I don't know why she's there, but she's there till 7. She's even calling me and texting me emails that says, I thought I was over, but it wasn't. So, yes, Tuesday, January 6th, I went to Borough Hall. Let me just, a quick, I bring things that are on the agenda was the Brooklyn Park and Space, on Recreation and Culture Committee. And there was a 2025 comprehension plan for Brooklyn. I was really, our borough president, I was really, he gave us a copy of it, but I want him to do a presentation. I requested that. We've been requesting that for a long time, Celeste. So I have physically told him and spoke to Caroline, they got to come do a presentation in regards to the comprehensive plan for Brooklyn in regards to land use and what's going on. So we really need to see what do you have there compared to what we had in ours that we did, and find out what was done, what wasn't done, what we need to do, and work together to make sure that that comprehensive plan be done now. We're not going to wait anymore. We had the Bushwick Community Plan, it went down the river a while back, so we want to make sure it gets done. And another thing was, don't forget the L95, the carbon monoxide in some of the buildings that you got to follow up, make sure that they have. Also, there are workshops, public hearings on land use review. Is here January 14, July. I'll make a copy of this. Maybe we'll put it on our newsletter. He gave us this. And also, your neighborhood, your block, community boards are open. Get on the community board. It's open. This is not Manhattan with a waiting list of 200 people. Everybody's laughing. I'm serious. That's why they did the charter revision. That's why all the old timers are getting pushed out. We fought for 14, this community board went, I myself, Celeste, and Kim, went to every meeting and handed out flyers in regards to everybody to get involved, the whole Bushwick. We went from one end to Broadway to Bushwick for people. We got 14 people. If 14 people come in there, 14 people are going to go. They're going to use the 14 people. And it may not be what you want. It may not be representing the board that you want to represent, but their ideology and their what they want to see. This is a community. It's what the community wants to see. It's not one any special privilege or anyone else that comes here and wants to change the narrative. That doesn't work like that. This is a community. We're all. And if it only benefits a few, then we got a problem. Because it should be benefit the community as a whole. Because I know elected officials, when they give money, they don't give to some, they give to everybody, regardless of what area you're from. So we want to make sure that everybody reflects. And we are, all the old timers now are going to be termed out, and there are going to be people here, and we're going to make sure that they do and represent this community the way they're supposed to represent. All of us, regardless, whether you pay $1 or $3,000 rent. I don't care. So get on the board. There is no waiting list of 200 people like Manhattan, and our elected official put that thing down. And now other community boards are not and can't, I go to the borough board meeting, fulfill these slots. Because people voted to term out people because they said they want it. And then we have more people going on the non-committee members list than people getting on the board. It's good to find out what it's all about and what you're getting into, but we all got to find out together and work together. So it's open. He gave me a copy of the plan. I don't know what that meant, but we need to work on this. And citizens, and that is, let me see what else I have here. Oh, and I think that is, wait, that is the Celeste. So, oh, wait, no, I have something else, I think, before. Let me finish in regards to Borough Hall. Okay. All right. On Wednesday, the 7th, 3:15, Wyckoff, informational. Thank you for the BEC. They needed, from the Bushwick Community Partners, they needed, me and Celeste was in there. We did an interview with someone to get hired. I'm not too sure if they hired that person. I wasn't aware. I know they were here. They left, so maybe we'll follow up. Someone interviewed because the last person that was on the Bushwick Community Partnership moved to a higher position, and they were wanting us to interview someone from within. So me, Celeste, and a couple of people were interviewing them on Wednesday the 7th at 3:15 Wyckoff at 10 o'clock from 10 to 12. That's Thursday, January 8th, 2 o'clock Zoom with Sandy Nurse staff. 4 o'clock on Zoom, we met with Councilwoman Jennifer Gutierrez about 9:46, 9:54 Flushing. The same day was the 6 o'clock was the CPS HRSV committee, which I was there on Friday the 9th. That's at 3 o'clock to 5 was the last day, Kim's last day. We were there on Saturday from 11 to 3. It was a coat giveaway. Thank you, Ujima. We gave out over 1,000 coats on that Saturday. Clothes for babies, Pampers, food. Oh my God, you should have seen. They came, they were trying them on, put them on, and they left. It was, you know, it was so what we had a couple of homeless people come in there, take their coats out, throw it out, and put a brand new fresh coat. It was like socks, clean socks. It was like, yo, it broke my heart. And that's what it's all about, man. They came in there, they did it on Tuesday the 13th at 2 p.m., Wyckoff on Zoom. In regards to the plaza, I'm very concerned about the Wyckoff Plaza. CB4 did not approve that plaza. Queens approved the plaza, they gave them the plaza. There's a lot of issues there. And then we're always talking about Latinos and blacks and immigration and immigrants, and they're selling their stuff there. And there's cops going in there, taking them, because they're selling stuff that they're not supposed to sell and frying food with no license, and people are getting sick. So they're going in there. 104, the A3 are doing it. But now I heard that DOT, that's in charge of that, has the Wyckoff bid doing programming because they have $1 million bond. Because in order to do programming on these plaza, you need insurance. So guess what? Community like ours that don't have that kind of money, and Ridgewood has a bid, and the bill, they pay their taxes and they own, and Bushwick are renters, guess what? We can't do services there. So I said, why don't we have a CBO? And our CBOs told us, which is Riceboro, that they don't have that insurance, that why can't they work with them in regards to that insurance? And I said, that's right. Why aren't we utilizing, if that space there is in Bushwick, only one side is Ridgewood, why can't we utilize and do programming there or be together with them? Why don't they want to work with us? Since you got the insurance, guess what? Can I work with yours and we could do programming here? We're all on the same page. We're all about. So I don't know. I guess they didn't like the idea. I know one of them, the chair, has sent me a text that they wanted to speak to me. I don't know if it's going to become permanent, guys. It was temporary. It's going to become permanent now by 2027, right? Or this year. I know they said it's going to become permanent, and they want to get a permanent person there to program that location. And I guess they're pushing for CB5 in Queens. And I was a little upset and angry because why aren't we programming there? And the people that are utilizing this are people too. We don't mind Queens giving us some love. I don't mind, but let us eat too, you know. So I sped them on them. Hopefully I can sit down with them and talk to them. I'll call them. I haven't had time with so many things going on, but I will be speaking to the chair of the a small business that they have on Myrtle Avenue and see what is it that we can do and work together, or set something up ourselves too with Riceboro and see what we can do to get programming when they do put in. I also told them, everybody walks down Wyckoff and Myrtle. You see the store that's there in the train station that's closed off? That used to be a restaurant, a diner, a food diner. They moved across the street, La Faro. Faro? I think it was a Faro. The ones that moved across the street, they were there many, many years ago. It hasn't been open. Why is it not open? Transit needs money, right? There are people that need spaces, right? Let's think out the box. Why MTA has that place closed? So why aren't we getting stuff for open space for our community? Why aren't people fighting and protesting like I see everybody else, but not fighting for this? Come on, let's be realistic. Everybody come here and says, oh, I need space. I'm getting lost. Our churches are getting pushed out, all right, and closed down. I have a pastor here, he'll tell you, a bishop, or I don't know what it is in detail, pastor. So I know, and I go to the meetings in the pastor's meeting, and I have Jason here, if he's still here. Jason, not Jason, Danny from the churches. He want to get a spot in spaces and trying to look. What happened with our churches? We don't count anymore. So we really need to work with them and make sure. We're going to be fighting. I got 1 year, 2027, I'm turned out. I told Marissa I'm flipping tables. If it ain't for this community, we ain't doing it. We're not doing it. I'm not. I could get you 500 people to do negative, but I can't get you 500 to do positive. I got a lot of people that are ready to turn up. So we need to make sure that we eat too. Bushwick needs all of us, regardless of who we are. We will. We can't do that. Got to be on our own. On Tuesday, the 13th, Wednesday the 14th at 10:30 with the district service cabinet. Thank you. All city agencies were there present. As you know, everybody's changing. A lot of people aren't there. We're gonna have new people, new reps. So me and Celeste will be working on who's gonna be responsible. On Thursday, the first CB4 district service office. On Friday, 2 p.m. we met with Riseboro again. On that Friday the 16th at 2 p.m. We met at the office, me and Celeste in the district office, in regards to the people that are non-board members, to get them on, and she's doing the interview again. I'm sorry, Celeste. She's interviewing some of them. I think we have.
This is for the public committee members. So they're still in the process of being appointed. I don't have a total number yet, but Mr. Camacho and I initially reviewed some of those applications, and we will finalize that before the end of this month for the midterm appointment.
Thank you, Celeste. On Tuesday, January 20th at 6:30, the A3 Precinct Council, in regards to the code, there was an issue in regards with the code drive. Our assemblywoman was a little upset because of the time frame, and we know, Barbara was different in her own way. Barbara Smith is the chair of the A3 Precinct Council. She was also on the board here, and she did a phenomenal job when it came to, organizing things, and would say, you do this, you do that, you do this, and she's no longer here. So now, Ms. Avina Davis, as you know, our former board member just resigned, been on the board many, many years. We love her to death. These individuals that are here, when I was a young kid and I wasn't, and mind you, she was a detective. Everybody see, she was a retired detective. And so is Miss Spellings. Lived in Bushwick over 30-something years, 40 years. They're police officers. And every time I got myself in trouble, they were always in the forefronts to keep myself clear, and brought me here all the time. And I sat there when I was 21, 1920, Anna Gonzalez that passed away. Miss Dent, that I just saw her the other day, she was that former chair. Todd Morris, that was the Broadway Merchant Association. Broadway used to have a merchant. Broadway was beautiful. 70s, 80s, and 90s, that was beautiful until 77, the blackout. That was stores from one end to another, bakeries, jobs, kids would work. I used to work in Barite, on Lawton, and Shoe King. So there was jobs here. Now, so yeah, everybody remember when they used to go to Barite. I knew the owner. He was a good friend of mine. So I was 14 years old, and he took me out the street and gave me a couple of dollars. I used to get the bags when you come in, and I used to put the number, and you go in the building, and there used to be toys. All my kids had toys all the time because I used to get a discount on this. So we had all the kinds of toys. So, there's history in Bushwick. Also, today at 9 o'clock, I went to 274. I sent Celeste a picture of the new library. There's a library in the school. It looks like a library. I sent the picture. I can't believe it. It's a library. All the way shelves, books, in a circle, a nice cubicle area where the kids can play. It's the library. I couldn't believe it. I went in there. I said, wow, it's a library in 274. I saw the principal. I saw the kids. I was there at 9 o'clock in the morning. And then at 10:30, I went to the A3 precinct clergy. There's certain issues there in regards to some of our churches that are closing down. As you know, Cathedral of Joy is closing down after 45 years because they no longer can sustain the rent. That's a huge place. I'm trying to work things out with some of our churches and our clergies that need space. You know, everybody's not on Zoom. Whatever denomination you are, something came out of something. And to close these churches down and just get out like that and replace them with housing that we can't even afford, and not even an open space that people can go preach and put their head down. Everybody needs somewhere to relax and calm the way this world is now. Even the churches, when they stay open, you sit down, even if you don't believe in what you believe, just an open space. So we really need to work on our clergies, our seniors. The other day, 2 days ago, I got a call from a young lady that rang my bell in my home and says, you know, there are 2 seniors, 84 and 83, sleeping in the car. And I knocked on the window, and they told me that they lost their apartment. How do you feel if that was your mother or your grandmother? You know, we get them some money. I try to get them some social services that we really need. You know, if that was your mother or your family, how would you feel? So you got to open your eyes and let's talk to each other, not at each other. Talk to each other. Let's see what we can do together. I'm open to anything, but it has to be all of us. If we all ain't in it, I'm not in it. So, and that is my full board meeting. Thank you. Thank you for the time, guys. Any questions? Any concerns? Thank you.
All right. As there are no questions for Mr. Camacho, we'll go on to the district manager's report. I will keep it brief. Good evening, everyone. Happy belated MLK Junior Day. CB4 is hiring. More information is going to be available if you looked at the January public hearing and regular meeting newsletter. There was a job notice, an initial one. We're waiting for the borough president's office to approve the official notice, which is going to include the city jobs link. So if you work for the city, there's a portal to apply. If you don't work for the city, there's also going to be more information on how you can apply. There's a third option. You can also contact the office directly. It's for an assistant district manager position. More information will be available within the next month on that process. And I also just want to say I've had some concerns recently. You know, I think that we talk a lot here about the things that are happening in Bushwick, but what we don't often focus on is how we do that. And I think from time to time, we will reflect and say that we're fortunate to have board members that show up the way that they do, elected officials that care and do the things that they do. Not every community district or community board is the same, you know? And they even acknowledged this earlier, you know, the folks from Big Reuse, they said, when we came here, we didn't think our neighbors would be so friendly. It reminds me of what New York used to be like. And so I want to just really hone in on that momentarily and say that as community boards change in term limits, and even now, you know, I'm seeing a pattern emerge where there's even a bigger gap between the board and the district office, between the district manager and the chairperson. And it's very concerning because when you're focused on the interpersonal dynamics, you're not focused on the community. And we're fortunate to not have those issues here, right? You know, not to that extent. We're always going to have conflict. We're always going to have differing opinions, but this has always been a space where we can take time to hear those differing opinions and still come up with what's best for this community. Knowing that even if there's a majority that agrees one way or the other, whether we're all for cars or we're all for bikes, that we can still also have a different opinion and still break bread together and still be in the same room and talk to each other. I don't want us to lose that. I really don't. And so Mr. Camacho went over most of the meetings, so I'm going to summarize those. But just if folks want to help, how can you help? This is primarily for board members, but if you're a community resident that's just looking to volunteer, Adelina, the part-time staff member in our office, will be working Monday to Thursday from 9 to 4. So we'll be covered for the most part during those days. On Friday, I will be there by myself. So folks that would like to help out with phones momentarily, maybe you want to do some remote work in the office, you're more than welcome. How you can do that is just by contacting the office at bk04@cb.nyc.gov. We also don't have someone that's dedicated to Zoom this evening. Thank you, Christian, for helping out tonight. We will find a rhythm. And so for folks that are on Zoom that did not have a panelist invitation, the goal is to make sure that everyone with a remote waiver will have a panelist invitation. And I assure you, we will find a system to make sure that works. And I'm thankful that the folks that did get the invitations tonight got them because I wasn't sure how that was going to work out. So that being said, I will go over just a few meetings. Mr. Camacho spoke to some. When he mentioned Kimberly broke down in the office, we broke down her tasks and standards, the things that she works on, and we just went through everything one by one to see how we can best transition those tasks to other staff between Adelina and myself for the time being, and then potentially having, where it's appropriate, some board members may be able to assist. I also wanted to spotlight a call that I had with Principal Julia Hines from PS 145. They have a school culinary lab, and there was potential for collaboration. We know that El Puente, the participatory budgeting team, has been talking a little bit about idea generation, and one of the ideas has always been this intergenerational, older adult / youth, cooking classes, like having our elders and our youth in one space, essentially for the whole family. And now we may have a location within the district that's able to accommodate that. We were always asking, where would we do this? Who has a kitchen? And so more on that hopefully soon in our committee meeting discussions. And then I also spoke with Ben Solitaire from the Civic Engagement Commission. This was really just talking about the new Office of Mass Engagement, which was announced by our mayor, and the Future of Community Boards Working Group, just checking in at the beginning of the year to see how best to plan ahead. A lot of this is new, right? The mayor's still rolling out new initiatives, new plans, new teams. So hopefully we'll have more within the next few months. I've also spoken with David Parrish from City Planning. This was a high-level planning discussion, mostly around district needs and how to better collaborate and prepare for that process. They do hold CB4 in high regard for how we engage the community. Again, not every district is the same. Everyone has their own way of going about it. And at the end of the day, too, you can prepare a plan, but if you don't advocate for that plan, if you don't say something, you're going to have district needs that could be on your list for years that are never really addressed. But within the past 5 years alone, CB4 has actually gotten those things addressed and removed from district needs. That's not always common. And so Mr. Camacho spoke to Myrtle Wyckoff. They have had the bid as an unofficial partner, but they're looking for one to take on the role permanently. They have, if folks are familiar with Corona Plaza in Queens, there's also an unofficial plaza partner there. I believe it's with the street vendor project. They've had some conversations about how to support vendors in that area to better manage the situation. So those are ongoing conversations as part of this task force. The council members have been very responsive, and they've been holding the agencies accountable for ensuring that there's enforcement and attention to the state of the plaza itself. And on January 14th, I spoke with, and I'm just noting this because it does happen. I know folks in permits and licenses, always ask if we ever hear from business owners. But one of the owners from Love's Club, this is at 106 Melrose, reached out to say, hey, we're finally settled, we're open, how can we help? And I commended them for reaching out. We don't always hear from business owners, but I let them know a few things that they can do to introduce themselves, starting with coming to this meeting from time to time, the precinct community council, and really just connecting with some of the local stakeholders depending on, how they would like to get involved. And there was also a meeting that I'll speak to the executive board about in more detail, but essentially we know that the 2025 charter revision, there were land use amendments that are going to be implemented, and city planning is responsible in part for educating and assisting with those amendments. And so there was a meeting that was originally supposed to be hosted for the Future of Community Boards Working Group with district managers. That was also, to some extent, through a miscommunication, turned into a public information session for some boards. It was inconsistent. I had to write a letter to executive leadership at City Planning saying that it was very uncomfortable to show up to a meeting where I didn't even know who was invited. and let alone not having our board receive an invitation to that meeting when other board members were invited to participate. So they recognized their mistake, and they assured that there will be other opportunities to engage, and that there were some folks at city planning that were unsure of what they were doing, but that it wouldn't be an issue in the future. And so hopefully things will be smooth sailing from here. And let's see, the Bushwick Community Partnership just had a great meeting yesterday morning. There was a presentation on human trafficking. It was very thorough. We've had calls to the office. Folks have called indicating that they're in certain circumstances that they need assistance. And granted, the individual that I had in mind that reached out was specifically looking for housing assistance. But the fact that we have folks that are here, you never know what's going on. And it's always good to have resources available. I rely on folks like the partnership when we don't have a direct contact at an organization. But I really suggest if you're looking for professional development, if you're looking to better connect with the Bushwick community, you just want to know what's going on, the Bushwick Community Partnership meets the third Tuesday of the month from 10 to 12 at the Hope Gardens Community Center. And the last thing I'll mention is a meeting with the Independent Budget Office. Board members will know you often see committee mail with their reports. They want to have a better sense of what CB4 is interested in and how we can collaborate and engage. I said, there are a few things that come up that I may be able to fill in, but I would love for them to hear from the community. I would love for them to hear from the board. And so they're going to take that back and take it into consideration and see how best to conduct engagement. But hopefully there'll be some sort of, outreach survey along those lines where folks will be able to chime in and share what they're thinking about and what the IBO may be able to report on. And that concludes my report. Thank you. If there are no questions, going once, going twice, we'll go on to recommendations.
Yeah, there was only one recommendation in regards to two board members. I think it was what is it, Tammy Tiani, and Alex Moreno, to be removed from the board for TNA. Are there any?
Do folks need me to clarify? Okay. So the district office committee reviewed board member attendance, and they recommended based on attendance. So these folks have not attended meetings, 3 or more excused or unexcused absences. Letters were sent. They were given an opportunity to respond. There were other members that received letters. These 2 board members' attendance has not improved since then, and they have not indicated that they wish to continue on the board. And so what the district office committee does in that regard is they will have a discussion about it. They'll take circumstances into consideration. There were no extenuating circumstances that we were, advised of in this case. And so the recommendation was for removal based on attendance. And that's what came to the full board this evening. We have a motion from Ms. Spellin. Is there a second? Jason Gers.
All in favor? Any opposed and abstention? Motion carried. Thank you. That was the only thing. All right.
This is old business. Any old business going once?
I have no business. I have a no business. I just would like to let the board know that I will be speaking to the executive board in regards to, let me look at my notes, in regards to, I wrote a letter explaining, I sent to council and the borough president and legal counsel. I was also contact regarding the committee's resolution, which I believe was lack of adequate community input. And also Robert Rules of Order and under the city charter, which express about the board's procedures and the authority to discharge a committee and the needs for the board actions and benefit the whole community rather than a specific interest. So I submitted a letter. I will go through legal and requested that, but I will speak to the executive board in what I have in the city charter and in regards to Robert Rules of Order and them to discharge of the committee, which I had the power to do, and our parliamentary did not allow me to utilize that power, and it's also under, in the video, and it specifically says discharge the committee. This is procedure. It specifically says when a community board wants to stop a committee from considering an issue further, this is a motion to be used, but the motion can only be introduced before the committee has made their final report, which I tried and I begged, and they excluded me. This motion is debatable, and the motion is amended, which I did have someone to second that amendment, and I had it before I even requested, and I was not given the opportunity as the city charter requires and as the mandate as here as the chair. So I am challenging that resolution, and also on this chapter that's on there, I submitted to legal, and I want legal to consider only because it wasn't community driven. It was driven by the committee, and the people wasn't represented on it. So that was old news. I'm letting them know I will speak to the full executive board in regards to what I posed to the legal department, and in regards to an appeal. And I'm gonna continue to fight. I submitted my letter to the borough president and to both city council. So I want to thank you. That's my old business. And
Any other old business? Please come to the mic.
Hi, Jason Gers, community board member. Do I understand that this is pertaining to the resolution from the last full board about criminal penalties for cycling and e-biking?
Correct.
And would you mind just explaining a little bit more about what is occurring in this appeals process? Because this was a vote that was passed at the full board unanimously. And I'd like to understand why you are challenging it. Thank you.
my request for a challenge is that it wasn't community driven. Yes, the community board did vote on it, but I wanted to discharge it before it even went, which I have the power to do. And I wasn't given that opportunity. And it's on here. I tried, I even told them, I even mentioned if you go on Zoom, it's on there, and legal is gonna review it. I tried it and I said it here, and I told the parliamentary that I was challenging and putting a discharge, and she told me that I was out of order. So I'm letting legal see the video, legal answer whatever it is, and if they say it's all right, then we work with it, but I'm gonna do my job. That is my job. My job is to discharge committee, which is on the city charter, and also objections and appeals, which the chair has the power to do. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I don't understand. What is the meaning of the word discharge in this scenario?
When a community board wants to stop a committee from considering an issue further, which they were doing.
In other words, to table the resolution?
Correct. This is a motion that is used before the motion can only be introduced before the committee has made its final report. And before I started, I said I had a motion before I even started, and it's in video. And they did not allow me to make my motion, which everybody has a right to. Thank you.
My final comment, and then I'll return to the table, is that I felt we had a robust community discussion on this topic and a vote which passed the full board. And I feel that legitimizes the action. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. The concern, if I can elaborate, I was not here last month because unfortunately I was at home sick, but I was listening on Zoom and there were issues with the Zoom sound quality. But the concern here and the precedent that that vote in particular sets is that it was the committee only. There was no external community engagement. The only thing that happened was essentially an informal poll of the board, which the committee used to justify their recommendation, which is what happened at the committee meeting. Generally, when you have any presentation to this board, it is the board receiving something from the community. And the example I've given, for instance, any board member can share anything with the committee. However, let's say a street co-naming. When you come in, you don't just say, I know this person meant so much to me, and I'm just gonna do this because I think the committee should do this is the right thing to do. And here are all my great reasons why. You have to get petitions, you have to get signatures, you have to engage the external community in order to provide a basis for that. And the committee did not do that in this instance, even though it was suggested several times. It does not change that the committee may vote on it and still recommend approval. It just shows that there was no external engagement and only this board was asked for their feedback on that particular recommendation.
I understand that that is your view, but that is in fact not the procedure that other New York City community boards follow. Other New York City community boards take proactive stances on matters that are important to them and vote on things and ask the city for things that they believe are important for their communities. And they are not limited by the need to receive some external stimulus outside of the board. Thank you.
And so I hear you on that, Jason, and I respect it. But I think when I spoke earlier, I mentioned that every community board is different. And this board has always had a very specific way of operating, and that changed with that particular recommendation. And I just want to say one thing further. The thing here, this board is not resourced with the capacity or resources to propose thorough legislation. That's what someone like Make the Road New York, our elected officials do. What was recommended last month effectively was like to go back to what was happening before with just traffic summons, which was not working. So that's essentially what the recommendation was, aside from the other stipulations. But to say that this board basically, came together and decided based on all these really great reasons to just go back to what wasn't working isn't necessarily something that demonstrates that we're doing really sophisticated policy work here. And that's not to diminish what the board is doing, but it's just to say that when we work in a way, right, where we're working with the whole community, we can elevate the things that are actually going to have an impact and to advocate effectively. And so that I think is the main concern here. It's not that there was an interest or an enthusiasm, but it's really understanding the board's role and ensuring that whatever the board votes on reflects the community and is also effective in advocating for change.
Hi, Zach Hendrickson, Community Board 4 member. I'm also disappointed by like this outcome and sort of what's happening. And I guess I would challenge, Celeste, the idea that every recommendation we make has robust community input. I think all of us can be honest enough to know that most of the things we vote on in this room, if we go and talk to probably most of our neighbors, they would have no idea that we were voting on any of those things. So I think we should just be honest about what we mean when we're talking about community involvement here. Also, from my perspective, we as community board members, part of our responsibility as representatives of this community is to talk to people in our lives, in our neighborhood, whether formally or informally, about what it is that's going on, what's coming up for a vote, and then we bring that with us into this meeting. So I think the idea of saying, and then that's what the vote is, right? And then we vote based on that, based on our own experiences as community board members and the conversations we've had. And I think we're splitting hairs a little bit here. We all were tired. Let's also own up to that. We all were tired. I know people wanted to get out here. I was personally surprised that the vote passed unanimously by everybody. So I'm just saying, if there's Mr. Camacho, chairperson, you are fully entitled to say that what happened parliamentary was like out of order. That's your right to do so. But I don't think that we as this board should allow that to become a proxy for this bigger idea or issue that this was totally out of line and something that we cannot do and should not do because it didn't reach enough community board members. I think that's unfair and a little bit using process to mask like a bigger sort of political point. And fairly, Celeste, sorry, and then I'll end. I think even you saying that like we're arguing to go back to what it was, which just wasn't working, is itself a sort of like political stance and opinion, which kind of, I think, gives away what's going on here.
I'll be real quick. So, I Pablo Rivera, Community Board 4.
Okay. Hello, I can't understand man. But I don't think it's working too much. Yeah. So anyway, I agree with the way you're doing the process. It was not unanimous because obviously I didn't agree. So that makes it right away not unanimous. And not everything is created equal, right? So there are little issues that we could decide here, right? And then there are major issues like a bike running down. You just last time somebody just died about 3 weeks ago. Got 2 weeks ago, right? But what do we care? It was only one person, right? He's dead, right? So when there's issues like that, then yes, for every little thing, we're not going to go and knock on doors. But for an issue like that, I think we should knock on doors.
We're gonna have one more, then I'm gonna close it off because I'm gonna go to executive board and submit my letter. I sent it to city council. I also sent it to the borough president. I also want legal to review it. And if legal says that it was okay, then it's okay. Then I can do resolutions all I want. I know I have a resolution in mind that I want all these e-bikes to get licensed and permits. And maybe I can speak to our elected officials since everybody's speaking about Latinos and blacks.
So, Cirillo Nunez, community board member. I think this should be a part of a larger conversation. We always strike on this conversation towards the end, right? People are tired, and I'm myself, I'm like, let's get it over with, right? And I want to go home. But we always talk about this, which is a huge conversation for our community, right? And I'm sure there's a lot of people that have a lot to say. We're going to be going back and forward. We don't have the time. I think we should table this conversation and we should have a meeting just to begin with this.
So you're making a motion?
I, Cirillo Nunez, make the motion to table this issue.
Anyone
and
second
to
the
address it in
motion?
a particular meeting.
He's tabling the issue, really, the open dialogue. He don't want to continue the open.
Conversation about this and about
Correct.
process. Was that what you were essentially saying? So I don't want to put words in your mouth. I really want it to come from you. But it was a motion to table this discussion about process.
Continue to table it at the next time.
Okay.
Yeah. You want to speak about it at a later time. He wants to speak to it at a later time. All right.
Okay, so he said, so again, so no. This is a question about, if I'm understanding this correctly, and I want to make sure folks on Zoom, you just said a few things that are off the mic, so I just want to make sure folks know what you were saying. It's about tabling this specific conversation about having a meeting specifically dedicated to talking about process that's earlier as opposed to later on in the meeting when everyone is tired and we've exhausted the subject. Is that what I'm seeing your head nod? Okay. There was a motion for this. Is there a second for this motion from the board? Seconded by Aliseo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. I'm gonna need folks to either stay there. I got James Stewart. If you can keep your hands raised, I can probably see who's here. James Stewart, Nancy Keith, Alan Gamboa. Give me 1 second. Ben Tucker. I'm gonna go to the left and then the right. I'm still getting people behind you, sir. Thank you. Jason Gares, Isa Abni, and Christian Tate. Am I missing anyone? I'm gonna go through okay. Savannah. All right, I'm gonna read the list. If I'm missing anyone, please let me know. James Stewart, Nancy Keefe, Alan Gamboa, Ben Tucker, Jason Gares, Isa Abni, Christian Tate, Savannah Tai. All right, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 opposed, any abstained?
I oppose.
Hold on, there's Gio's opposed. Anne is confused. Anne, do you wanna? Okay, Anne is abstaining because she's confused. Okay. Annette Spellin is abstaining. Give me 1 moment. Yeah,
Tanisha Honeygan abstaining.
1 moment. Zach, are you opposed? Yes. Okay, thank you, Christian. Hold on. Tanisha was abstained. So there's 3 abstained and 8 opposed. That's 11. Yeah. So yeah, I got Gio. Wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold on. there's 10, 12, excuse me. So there's 12 altogether. The motion still carries. All right. Is there any other old business? Going once, going twice. New business. Go ahead, Annette.
You're welcome. Annette Spellin, Community Board 4. I failed to mention that Wyckoff now has a prenatal care unit for newborns, and they also have an emergency room just for children. So it's important for you to know that and pass that on to the committee.
Got one more. I also have one more. I just want to let everyone know, I do not have no family members in Hope Garden. I repeat, elected officials, I do not have any family member in Hope Garden. And I'm going to repeat it again. And the reason why I wanted is old news, because I was told I helped this senior out, and Jonathan Fernandez, which is the property, Joseph Figueroa was the property manager, and he went and he told someone that this person went to me that that's my aunt. That's absolutely not true. I do not have any family member in Hope Gardens. What I do have is Bushwick family members in Hope Garden. So I have a lot of family members in Hope Garden that are like me, that I do have. So I want to let the elected official know that I know he went in the meeting and said that that was old business, that I don't have any family member. Because if it was a family member of mine getting treated the way she did, guess what? The cops will be in there. It wouldn't be. So you let property management Waycrest, because they're not a good management group. And this community needs to turn around and tell Hope Gardens to come here and tell us what's going on with our people in this development when they rent a $4,000 and $5,000 rent. All right? In public housing. That's a private entity. So we really need to turn up if you want to talk about Hope Gardens. I do not have any family member here, but they're treating our people bad. And Ms. Spellings, your sister too. So I'm letting all of you guys know, either you're going to shape up or we got to do something about this development, because our people are getting pushed out. And they now want to talk because they got family members working in here, because I know it. So nobody want to say nothing because there's nepotism. So that's the old news. That's the old news. Because I know they went to you guys and y'all did a meeting and someone told me that that's not my family member. But they are my family in this community. And we represent them, all of us. They're all of our family. So that's what's going on in Hope Gardens, if you guys don't know. This development and this new person is treating our people bad. They're not telling you, but I'm hearing it, and I know Ms. Spelling is hearing it too. And she's the chair of our committee. So that's the old news, and I want to let them know I don't have no family here, but I do have family. They're my Bushwick family. And if they suffer and they're hurting, I'm hurting and I'm suffering, because it shouldn't be that way.
And that's Spelling again. And just for those who were in that meeting in reference to people having family members in Hope Gardens, yes, my sister lives in Hope Gardens. I've been trying to get her to file a formal complaint with the Attorney General's office because that Wavecrest crew needs to be locked up. I've asked to have an informal audit done on the books with the complaints that I have gotten about Hope Gardens and Wavecrest. So any questions anybody got about me and my sister, come to me. Don't go to nobody else.
All right, announcements, a minute and, oh.
Quick new business.
Okay, go ahead.
Y'all be happy about this one. This is money. Hey everybody, I got three quick and I promise truly quick opportunities for local artists that they all just got announced basically today and they'll be done. The deadlines will be closed by the time we meet again. So I'm going to share with everybody right now. First, DOT programming partners for people who want to do free programs in plazas and open streets, which we just talked about earlier today. There's a program that opens every 2 years. The deadline is January 30th. For any community-based organizations or groups that want to get involved with that, they can submit an application at nyc.gov/DOT programming. And I'll send these to Celeste so she can send out to everybody. But that's the first one. Deadline January 30th, free programming in plazas and open streets. Second, we all know there's a bunch of construction happening at Broadway Junction. A bunch of our commutes have been messed up lately. As oftentimes with MTA programs like that, there's an opportunity for local artists to put in installations around some of the different, construction things that are going on. If you're interested in having your art featured as part of the construction that's going to be happening at Broadway Junction, the deadline for that is February 8th. And the application can be found at MTA Arts with an S, mtaarts.submittable.com/submit. That one's harder, so maybe watch for Celeste's email on that one. And the third one is Sanitation Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization that works with DSNY. They are running a sort of contest program for local artists around all of New York City to put their art on, I don't know if they're decommissioned or what, but trash trucks to get your art featured as it's like basically a giant canvas. It's like 400 foot wide that'll just rove around New York City. The application deadline for that is February 8th, and you can find more information at sanitationfoundation.org/arttrucks with an S. So 3 amazing opportunities for local artists. Please share widely with your networks, share on Instagram, share on social media. It would be awesome to see Bushwick folks take advantage of these opportunities, several of which are right in our backyards.
All right, we are at announcements, folks. If you're on Zoom, please raise your hand. If you're in person, please come up to the front. We have a 1.5-minute timer.
Hello. I live right on the border of CB4 and CB1, close to Flushing Ave. And I know that there's new owners for the Avant Gardner complex, and they're revisiting the liquor license on January 29th. Because I'm pretty much the closest residential building, I kind of wanted to see what they were thinking. And the way the lay of the land works, CB4 has all the residential that's close to the venue, whereas CB1 has none. So if anybody would like to, I was at the meeting. I spoke to, I guess, the SLA representative, and he said that if anybody has comments, suggestions, please email. It sounded like they got no comments at all, just because, again, it's if you live in CB1, it's often the industrial district, and it doesn't really matter. He said to email bko1@cb.nyc.gov. That's just the general CB1 mailing list, because I do believe CB4 should have a say, because everybody's coming off the Jefferson stop. Don't get me wrong, I support the successful venue, but we live here, so it's got to be within reason. So yeah. Oh,
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for being here. CB1 did extend an invitation. Christine, the committee chair, and other committee members are planning to attend that meeting as well.
On the 29th?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, it's like 6 p.m., I think. I'm not sure if I can make it personally, but I know some folks in my building, they're going to email and stuff. So thank you.
Thank you.
I'm very short. Good evening. My name is Amy Collado. I'm a tenant organizer with the Bushwick Housing Independence Project. I'm here to share news about our community meetings that have been happening at 420 Bushwick Avenue on the 3rd floor every last Wednesday of the month from 6 to 7:30. I do want to preface it that each month we have specific trainings and workshops. Specifically this month is going to be about understanding your rent histories and how tenants have used it Shout out to Choi on the phone on Zoom. How to use histories to challenge whether an apartment was illegally deregulated and or to challenge any overcharge complaints. But I want to go a little bit further, if I can use my last 30 seconds, to really preface that Bushwick Housing Independence Project's mission isn't to be a direct services. Our goal isn't for us to just get tenants who need help with leases. Yes, that's a starting point, but the goal is to move people into action, to want to work together collectively. I heard complaints about a very bad player, Wavecrest Management. I organized in Queens, and that was a name that was floated around as a bad landlord all the way 10 years ago. So I want to name that, organizations like ours, although small, our goal isn't to step in to help people do the paperwork. We want to help build the confidence to make sure that people get the changes that they deserve and to hear their voices. And I also want to just close it out by saying that right now, organizations like ours are really excited about this administration's willingness to hear us. So please, please use this opportunity to come to our community meetings and connect. Also, shout out to Communities Resist, because we do this work. Again, it's not just to fill out paperwork. We're trying to build people power. And so our contact is, thank you, 929-234-7358. Our email is bhiporganize@gmail.com. Invite your neighbors, yourselves, learn together. But again, if we're going to have these conversations together, then we have to really start thinking about how we can build power with one another, not just getting little bits here and there done. Okay? Well, thank you. Again, BHIP, Bushwick Housing Independence Project.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Ben Tucker. I am the chairperson of the Environmental Protection, Transportation, and Sanitation and Parks and Rec Committee. I didn't get the chance to we had no committee meeting. I want to say that the last thing I would want is for my fellow community board members to feel like they did not have sufficient input on the business that our committee takes up. We do not meet in secret. Our meetings are public, and I'm constantly inviting my fellow board members to the meetings. And so I just want to remind y'all to please attend and share your opinions there. I feel like when I give my committee reports, I end up on this mic for like an hour, and I really don't enjoy that at all. So we could shorten that time, and then everyone would have a shorter meeting if you came to the committee meetings and read the committee report instead of waiting until the full board meeting to ask me all the questions. And I think people would feel better about that. So let's please do that. Thank you.
Hi, Svenites, CB4 member. I am a computer science professor at CUNY, and we just got renewed funding for our CUNY public interest technology pop-up that runs at the Oculus. So there was a pop-up in the fall for, I think, 6 weeks. And now we have funding to have this space for the rest of the semester. So I'll bring this up at the Arts and Technology Committee as well. But if anyone here is interested in proposing something, we're really interested in like community-driven tech education and exploration. Like I'm doing a lot of participatory design work about like what is the real New York community like want the future of AI to look like. And then also, if you know any current CUNY students, we'll be hiring a set of fellows for this semester who will get funding to like put on their own projects at the pop-up. So talk to me, or you can email me. My name is kind of complicated, but it's on the board. It's Savannah Tais, Thais, at hunter.cuny.edu. And I really hope to get like input from the community. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Brizo Torres, and I'm the founder of the Good Good Collective, nonprofit here off of Troutman, off of Jefferson Street. This message is for folks that are super excited to pour resources into our youth. We hear a lot of conversations circled around that our youth don't have access to quality education or safer spaces. We're very much grassroots. We just received our 501c3 in December, but started rocking and rolling in Thank you. We started rocking and rolling this summer, and since the summer, 6 months, we've impacted 48 students and poured over 3,000 instructional hours into these kids through music, theater, dance. We've taken kids to Land Broadway, so we really are serious when we mean high quality education. And the best part is that it's tuition free. We ask that you rally around and join us. We have various ways that you can support. You can use your voice. You can share on social media. We really would love the support. We've done the homework, and there are maybe 2 other arts organizations that are full-time year-round that offer educational opportunities via music, theater, dance outside a public school system. I come from education working within the system, and a lot of these after-school programs are just not shelling out high quality education. And this is coming also from like Upper East Side families. We have an open house where artist led, I should lead with that. I'm an actor, a musician. Sam over here is our music teaching artist, and we are very passionate about the arts. We know that a lot of great nonprofits are not getting the funding that they need. And, it's tough to rely on government funding these days, especially with everything's going on, right? And so we are looking for ways to bring in more resources. So we have an open house to launch our exciting adult classes. We are rocking out with music classes, songwriting, cumbia classes. We keep culture alive in Latin and Black and Indigenous spaces and welcome all allies because it's so important to learn about the culture of our peers and represent Brooklyn, Bushwick here. And yeah, so thank you very, very much. We have our flyers. You can have them over there. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. A quick announcement from the council members' office. We are going to begin tax season. So we are going to be helping constituents fill out the 210 and the 214. This is mostly for people who are on Social Security, SSI, or welfare. So they could call our office and make an appointment. We also did join Clean Bushwick Initiative on Monday for Martin Luther King Jr. cleanup in Maria Hernandez Park. We were happy to remove more than 500 pounds of trash from Bushwick. Yeah, and they did, it was a lot of volunteers, and we're happy that we joined them. We are planning our Trash Force events as well for the summer. So if anyone wants to volunteer in the summer and find out more, please, there are some flyers in the back and you could volunteer with us. We are continuing our mobile office hours for the every second Tuesday of the month. We're gonna be at Cuff. We will be there from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. The next mobile office hour is on February 10th. We're also going to be hosting another mobile office hour on the Bushwick Library. Shout out to BHIP, who will be joining us on that one. We are also going to be having FDNY. So if any tenant wants to sign up for free smoke alarms, please come by, and FDNY will be helping on that one. I think a lot of you heard the mayor and the governor did make an announcement about childcare, universal childcare, which the councilmember Jennifer Gutierrez has been championing since the beginning. The program will be coming, and they are going to start planning it. And I'm happy to announce that Councilmember Jennifer Gutierrez will be the chair for the subcommittee on universal childcare. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Jonathan Betancourt here representing Congresswoman Nydia Velasquez, who sends her greetings from Washington, D.C. We hope everyone has had a great start to their new year. Just want to begin by noting that the Affordable Care Act tax credits that help lower healthcare costs for working families have expired. This is something I mentioned in multiple meetings at the end of last year. And as a result of this, families are seeing 75% up to 100% increase in their healthcare premiums. House Democrats have passed legislation to extend these ACA credits for an additional 3 years with the support of 17 Republicans in the House. So the bill now moves over to the Senate, and if it passes the Senate, it moves on to the president's desk, and we're hoping he will sign it, although chances are very slim, to say the least. The Congresswoman also secured key provisions in the House in the Housing for the 21st Century Act, which would recognize housing co-ops as eligible entities for federal housing programs and funding. The goal is to keep housing affordable for our seniors, our low-income folks who have co-ops. This bill is still moving through Congress, so we'll keep you all updated. Just also want to mention the Congressman is deeply concerned about the growing number of international conflicts that this current administration is being involved with. He was there overseas today talking about Greenland and how we're going to annex Greenland for the sake of our country. And at a time when families are struggling to put food on the table, to pay rent, we do not need to engage in more military conflicts. She strongly opposes policies that prioritize military escalation over diplomacy. Lastly, just want to say again, we have a government shutdown looming. The federal government has to pass a bill by January 31st, or else we will again be in a shutdown. So stay tuned for that. Just want to say, as we all know, the Congresswoman has announced her retirement, so this will be her last year in Congress. So yes, we have one more year left. If you need any assistance with a federal agency, please call our office at 718-599-3658. Thank you.
Good evening, Maria Valdez from the Office of Senator Salazar. Just want to highlight that the senator has an expansive list of bills that she has been carrying that she plans to advocate for this year related to prison reform, immigration, affordability, housing, reproductive rights, and more. I would like to highlight some of the bills that she worked on this week. So Senator Salazar spoke at prison reform presser to end prison violence with Robert Ricks, father of Robert Brooks, and advocates. They continue support and action towards restoring and the dignity and humanity of incarcerated individuals while addressing the systematic injustices in New York State prisons. I would also like to highlight that the Team Salazar rally for the Maternal Health Dignity and Consent Act A8060 SA45, which prohibits unnecessary drug testing and screening without informed consent except during a medical emergency. I will also like to add that we continue to have tenant support unit in our office the first Tuesday of every month from 10:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. We also have CUF in our office that will help the community with Housing Connect applications. So if you know anyone that needs support creating an account, they're welcome to come in every Tuesday of the month, every Tuesday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Thank you.
Hello. I have a few announcements starting with tax season is here. We will do free tax clinics at our office starting January 30th through April 10th. This is for income taxes, 1099s, some business taxes, etc. Do not pay to get your ITIN number. That is a scam and an unnecessary cost. You can come get it for free at our office. Just call this number. I brought some flyers. Additionally, we are very loudly advocating against ICE in New York City through different initiatives. The council member is fiercely fighting to protect immigrants here. I want to remind folks that we will be having a job fair this year, date to come. We will also be working with schools to help them plan for, create family plans for ICE intervention at schools. We are planning a town hall, and the first topic of the year will be DSNY and DOT. So I highly encourage the folks on the committee and this board to attend our town hall, which will most likely be in March. I will send the flyer and reach out to you directly for that. But it's a great chance to put DOT specifically under pressure because they require a lot of studies to install speed bumps, lighting, any kind of change that you want to see for traffic related issues is very complicated. And so we're trying to create some pressure, and community presence would be very much appreciated at this town hall. So stay tuned for a flyer about that. It'll be in March, so save the date. Pardon?
Who are you? Who do you
Oh,
represent?
I represent Councilmember Sandy Nurse.
Hey everybody, last time for me, I promise. I heard everybody, and it sounds like we're all pretty upset about ICE. My name is Zach Hendrickson, CB4 board member. We can talk about it here. We can have our elected officials, take stances. But I think that there's nothing stronger than we as people getting out into the streets and making sure that everyone knows how upset we are and that we are not going to stand for this takeover that's happening right in front of our eyes. So this Friday, standing in solidarity with the general strike called in Minneapolis in response to the murder of Renee Good by ICE officers, over 4 dozen organizations across the city are coming together to protest. The time, I did not choose it, so don't be mad at me. It starts at 4 p.m. at Union Square. So hop on that L train, get off work early if you need to, call out sick. I don't care. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people are going to be there, including folks from Cuff, including folks from El Puente. So groups right here in the neighborhood. I'll be there with New York City DSA. Doesn't matter why you're there, show up as a person. Let everybody know how you feel and that this is not acceptable. This is not America, and we won't stand for it. So I hope I see you all at 4 p.m. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm short. That's not gonna. Jackie from Assemblymember DeLon's office. Unfortunately, I wasn't here last month, so I didn't get to announce something that happened for us that was really, really momentous. I think it happened the same day as the community board meeting back in December. I'm not sure if Maria had made the announcement back then either, but I gotta say it anyway because it's really important to us. Assemblymember DeLon, as the chair of the Committee on Correction, has worked incredibly hard all year to make changes, make prison reform. And I believe it was that day on December 17th, the governor finally signed the omnibus bill, which enacted in the enhancing of accountability for incarcerated deaths, reporting requirements for docs, amongst other things. And it's so important. And this year he's going to continue to fight for more prison reform because there is no way that we are done right now. There's too much to be done. That's all. Thank you.
Hi, Pablo Rivera. I run Bushwick Sports and Recreation with a great group of people. Just want to announce that our winter baseball, soccer training had just started. It's Tuesdays and Fridays from 6 to 9 at Progress High School in the gym. And on Saturdays from noon to 4. We haven't, you can call 347-388-8271 or 718-628-5486 to ask about the different age groups that are going to be assigned to the different days. So I don't know them off the top of my head. And I'm going to speak for another organization that we have forming. We haven't formed it yet. It's called Enough, Basta. We're going to have cool gear that say Enough, Basta. And we, in a group of people, we felt that there was a need. We have far right, far left, everybody fighting. And then family members, we feel we left in the middle of nowhere without a voice. We're going to try to engage families with children, churches, the clergy. We need a voice too. They need a voice too. We have family issues, quality of life issues. Everybody wants to just fight for their own agenda. We don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, whatever you are. We care if you're a family. And those are the ones that we're going to attract. In the next meeting, we're going to unveil, you have more information, phone numbers, and maybe some cool gear that we're going to have out there. So that's it.
See any hands on Zoom? Going once, going twice. All right. No more announcements. We will move on to the second roll call. Please be ready. Linda Whitfield, I believe she just had to leave, so I'm going to mark her as excused. Jerry Valentine.
Present. Good night.
Thanks, Jerry. Ben Tucker. Christian Tate. Savannah Tay. James Stewart. B. Speederman. Annette Spellin. Juan Sarah is absent. Milagros Sandoval. Josue Salazar. Eliseo Ruiz. Raul Rubio. Pablo Rivera. Shrey Richardson. Cirillo Nunez. Zuma Navoa.
Present. Good night.
Ramika Nichols Barnes is excused. Alex Moreno. Christine Malden. Cindy LeBron. Nancy Keith. Giovanni Justiniano.
Present.
Luisa Jose. Tara Jones Thomas. Virgie Jones. Barbara
Present.
Jackson. Gotcha, Virgie. Barbara Jackson was on Zoom, was not able to get promoted to a panelist. Tanisha Honeygan.
Present. Good night.
Deborah Hicks.
Good night.
Courtney Henley. Zachary Hendrickson. Ann Guiney. Ann Guiney. Christopher Graham. Jason Gares. Alan Gamboa.
Don't forget to clean up after
Joanne-
yourself. This is a senior building. Thank
Jo-
you.
Joanna Fuentes Singh. Andrew Choi.
Good night, everybody.
Felix Ceballos. Robert Camacho. Joanna Bennett. Tiani Belliard. Stephanie Anderson. Stephanie Anderson. Issa Abney. Issa Abney. Oh, got you. Got you both. Motion to adjourn. Raul Rubio makes a motion. Is there a second? Say a name, please. Nancy Keefe seconds. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried. What time is it? 9:03. Good night, everyone.
Noches. Good night.